And supers, do we gotta talk? We gotta we gotta talk about Mr. O'Leary, but not just Mr. O'Leary. I think we gotta talk about a lot of things. Uh, there's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of things to talk about. I wasn't really planning on doing a live stream here tonight, so I apologize because it wasn't planned. Not that I've planned most of these, but I am happy to be here on Christmas Eve. Got my Eric Patrick Thomas apparel on here to help inspire and get you into the holiday spirit, if you will. So I wasn't. I mean, I've been debating whether or not to talk about this for a little bit here, and I want to give a shout out to. I forgot to add this button to my repertoire here. Let me see if I can quickly do it while I'm talking. But I wanted to. I wanted to have the ability. Oh no, it's not working. Why is it not working? Why is this not? Oh, because I renamed it. Okay. All right. So, this comment came in earlier today from S. I wish I knew who S was. S could stand for super. You should do an episode on Kevin and the FTX saga. Due to all the lies he has been saying, his reputation has been badly hurt. I won't be surprised if they pull him out of the show. Well, okay. So I'm not here to call anybody a liar. I think, I mean, I don't know that I could do the FTX saga as much justice as say a Patrick Boyle or CoffeeZilla or any of those guys. Anybody in that realm. I'm really disappointed in what happened. I personally didn't have any money in FTX, but I know that doesn't necessarily, in this case, matter because it's going to ultimately affect everybody, especially if regulation comes down. And as Mr. O'Leary was super quick to point out in an interview that he gave, I don't know if it was today or yesterday. It came up. I was looking up on CNBC. Let me share my screen here. Excuse me. So this isn't the interview. This from like the 16th. It's him talking about how he told some story about Irish people don't lie or something like that because they're crazy. I don't know. It's all kind of noise to me, but I there's so many ins and outs. One thing that I do want to point out that I don't want people to forget through all of this is, and I forget whose video it was that, so I apologize, but somebody's video pointed this out. And this video or this interview or whatever is back on November 16th. Here's a Gizmodo link from Yahoo News. But effectively, where he goes on to say that he would still invest in SPF no matter what. And so let me see if is that coming through. Is it muted? Huh. I don't know why. I don't know if any. Let me know in the chat. You shouldn't be able to hear it for some reason. Let me see, is this broken? No, that ain't broken. Not sure why this. Oh, because it was set up for. Okay, I see why. All right, let's change that. Okay, so if you haven't seen this video, it's only 40 seconds.
If SPF knocked on your door again and said, "Look, I failed in my last venture. I have a new crypto venture. I need money," would you back him?
That's a great question. No one's asked me yet. I think we can all admit, you can love him or hate him given what's happened, but he was one of the most brilliant traders in the crypto universe. He also built one of the most robust platforms. We used FTX actively. It was a very robust platform that allowed us to get information on a compliant basis. So I really like what he built.
Would you back him?
The answer would be yes.
If SBF knocked on your
Yes. So my take when the question comes up of like what's my take on Kevin and the FTX saga? Well, I think that the FTX side of it seems to be speaking for itself, that and coming unraveled pretty quickly. But I think the bigger question is like, how did so many people just not how did they not know? As City Place 2711 here in the chat says, how did I know? ... Oh, how did you know that he would say yes back in November? I would totally give him the money. And maybe, look, things change and all that, but something that stands out to me about Kevin and really any of the Sharks, well, let's start with Kevin, right? So if you go to like Cameo, and I don't know if it's still that way, but I feel like it was like a year, 2 years ago, something like that. Like you could go to Cameo and you could get Kevin O'Leary to basically promote anything for $500 through Cameo. And I always found that like that seems a bit straight. Like you're setting yourself and your reputation, the Shark Tank reputation, O'Leary funds, and your time kind of short there. Like you're saying I will basically say anything into a camera for you for $500. And I'm kind of curious, like now actually that I'm saying this, I should probably look up, let's go to Cameo, right? And see, is Kevin O'Leary still on Cameo? Is Cameo still oh, no, it doesn't look like does not look like he is on. Oh no, he is. He's not even the first one. What the I type in Kevin O'Leary and he's number 5 on that list. Number 5. Okay, cool. Now it's $1,500. And for $1,500, and because I remember telling somebody about this, I was like, you know what it was? Is there was a competing podcast conference coming up, and they had a video of Kevin O'Leary talking about the event or whatever. There was no promise that he was going to be at the event. But I was like, well, I'm going to call BS on this, and say they just went to Cameo, paid him like $500 or whatever, and got him to say whatever. And that's basically what it is. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's any real tell them what to say, get your video and share. I mean, that's how Cameo works, but I mean, I've seen it on a few different websites and stuff. Now you're supposed to, a business video is $6,500. But I believe if we could go back to the Wayback Machine, it was definitely not $500 to say anything. And honestly, $1,500 for him to shoot a 1-minute video or whatever seems a bit crazy to me. But the point that I want to make is that should Kevin O'Leary had known that this was like a big Ponzi scheme, I'm gonna say that if he didn't recognize that it was a big Ponzi scheme, that's a big problem for him. Like as a person who banks his whole life on being business focused, investment focused, and then boom, you got in bed with the Ponzi scheme. And not only did you invest in that Ponzi scheme, you were a spokesperson for that Ponzi scheme. Doesn't sound great, right? Was the reputational hit worth $15 million, $13 million, whatever it really ultimately ended up being? I think that's like when you have that question of like, is what's your price? Is what's it worth to you? What's your word worth to you? What's your reputation worth to you? What's everything that you've built around yourself worth to you? And you say, yeah, 12, yeah, I'll take that 15 million, 12 million, whatever it ends up being. And then we, if he pays taxes on it, I don't know. I'm not here to throw, stones in that direction. But at the end of the day, these people, they're just humans. They're not. I mean, I think a very good friend of mine put it very, very well. If I can pull the text up, we were talking about this kind of stuff yesterday, and was it yesterday or 2 days ago? But effectively, they're not. So he said to me like this. He's like, I always look at it this way. Nearly all the rich got there by specific circumstances that allowed them to snowball it into what they have today. They are not some genius super intellect. Otherwise, everyone leaving MIT and Caltech would be millionaires, which they're not. That or born into a rich family, which is specific circumstances, LOL. And I agree, right? And we're not even talking about, because then we went into the text messages went into like at what level, because like millionaire doesn't even define much anymore. Like you have to have $1 million to retire at least here in the States, right? More or less, and in a lot of cases more. So like what level of millionaire are we talking? And then I found a video by, I forget who made the video, but they talked about the different classifications of, it's called the levels of wealth. And but I don't know who it's by without clicking on the link, but like that's what it looks like. So if you go and find that video, it's really interesting. So they talk about like, basically it's like $10 to $30 million in wealth, and you're like at that point you're at a different you're just in a different realm, and then it goes up from there from like 30 to 100 million, and then above 100 million you're just in a way different stratosphere. So anyway, I think I think the point there is that you have to keep in mind that pretty much everybody who got to that level of wealth is no smarter than you. They found the thing that's going to work for them, which is the circumstance. And sometimes in that circumstance, the circumstance could be that they were born into it. And that's just the luck of the draw, right? So, when I look at Kevin and somebody actually tonight said this comment. Oh, where can I get this comment at? Here we go. I'm for M4ARU. Says just saw scam ad for Car Shield, a feature starring Hershevek. A multimillionaire needs to scam people? ? Obviously a lame loser, and would like to see his tax returns. Proves this show is pure Hollywood BS. I don't know that proves that it's just Hollywood BS. What I would say though is that again, these people are human, and they are not they're not impenetrable to the idea that they can be paid to be a spokesperson for something like Car Shield. And the funny thing is, so I looked that up, and do I have it right here? I thought I had it here. Maybe I think I pulled it up on my phone. But basically he was like, I did my due diligence, and let me see if I can pull a Herjavec. And I mean, those Car Shield, if you haven't seen one of those Car Shield commercials, it's not great. It's not great. Like I cringe seeing Boomer on there, who what's his name? Chris Boomer, who's like, been on ESPN and stuff like that. Who's that? Oh, Ice Cube doing those commercials. It's just like, did you really need the money that bad? I know it's easy money, but I also know that Car Shield is probably not a legit thing. Just like going back to Kevin O'Leary, it's like if something's promising like 8 to 10% returns, you should probably know better. One of the basic things of life is if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, and to just like look the other way and say, oh yeah, I believe this guy. He's got, a mom and a dad that's, that are what were they, financial analysts or what's the term? Regulators. It's like why?
Here's TV
why?
shark
Why? Okay, here you go. Here's the Herjavec commercial. I don't want it to get. I don't know if they'll claim it or not, but we'll see.
Here's TV shark Robert Herjavec for Car Shield.
I love cars, and I also love great deals. That's why I'm such a fan of Car Shield. They have an amazing deal that helps protect you from the sky-high cost of big auto repairs.
Your car is out of...
I mean, let's face it. Like, none of those cars are going to be covered under Car Shield, right? And then they go from that, drop right on into this early 2000s car, I think. I'm not... Is that even a real car? Or is that a car that is just... Is that like a computer generated car? I kind of actually think that it's a computer generated car. Because what car do you know that has a hood that has like teeth coming out the front of it? I mean, I don't know, it kind of looks fake. Kind of looking fake to me. But anyway, once again, here you go. I'm let's see the comments here. It says, just curious if Mr. Shark Tank is a paid spokesman, ambassador, or investor for Car Shield. All of the above. Ditto. The only scam Shield commercials I get are the ones pandering panic to uneducated red voters via free dumb buzzwords. That's weird. Or I would take this guy or the old Ice-T ones over the ones I see. Sorry, Robert, I'm out. Yeah. So I mean, that's just goes to show you. Look, they're willing to pander to anything, to anyone. Now, look, Damon, right, was not apparently was selling, according to at least one article I saw way back when, at the beginning of the pandemic. He was peddling N95 masks out in front of a hospital, no less, in Florida, which is pretty despicable. Look, you claim to be this, multimillionaire person, and yet it doesn't seem like anything's beneath you. And that's why I think that when we look at other people from the outside looking in. We shouldn't be comparing ourselves to that, right? Because like they're willing to go and do, some really dumb things like promote anything for, $500, $1,500 or whatever, to putting themselves into Car Shield commercials, taking money from people who, think they're going to get some awesome extended car warranty. I mean, literally extended car warranty. I guess Robert Herjavec had never gotten a phone call saying that your car warranty was about to expire. Because if he did, he probably would think twice before going and doing Car Shield commercials. I guess his business just doesn't produce enough money. There's so many other ways to spend your time and your money than doing things like that. So oh man, here's this comment was I found this in our comments section down in the super community. FTX is a scam. Mark, I'm in. I said Kevin enters the chat because he did. He not afraid to be a spokesperson for it. And he's, probably going to pay, obviously he's already paid some form of price, assuming that he's not in on the whole scam thing. I don't know. I mean, I hope for his sake that he's not. because it's a lot of money. But even Mark. No, we can go down the road. You want to talk about Mark Cuban while we're on this whole like cryptocurrency thing, right? He's getting sued because he said, what was it? Mark Cuban, crypto safest investment or safe. What was he said? Something to the effect of like safe as. If we can find it. Mark Cuban weighs in on gold and Bitcoin, says stored value. He is hit after cryptocurrency crashed 100%. Maybe that's not the word. I think it was like something to the effect of like, this was bulletproof and it's 100% safe, or as safe as to 100% safe as you could possibly get. And look, in regards to Mark and that, I'm still very excited for what the future of cryptocurrency can hold for not just the wealthiest of wealthy people, but also the future of the less than wealthiest people on earth, right? And the opportunities that potentially brings to the table for people. Let me see. Crypto sued. Here you go. Oh, it was the Voyager. Yeah, Voyager Digital, right? Where he sat there and said how it was like the safest possible thing and blah 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 blah. So I'm not trying to peddle any kind of fear or anything. My message is pretty simple, that they're just humans. They don't get it all right. Just because they got money doesn't mean that they are some all-knowing thing, right? All-knowing being or thought leader or anything like that. Even there was a comment in down below that I saw earlier today talking about whenever they go on about how that industry is brutal or it's so hard to do, blah blah blah. And a large part of that reason is things are brutal. But part of the reason that they're brutal is because you probably aren't invested 100% of your time, effort, time, energy, and money, the three strings that we have to pull when doing anything, into that business. So you're taking something that like you don't really know that much about, and then you're trying to pour money into it and invest as little time as possible, and relying on other people's energy and time to figure out if it's going to, if you can make it to work. And it might be brutal to you because you're not an expert in it, and because the person that you had needed a more of an expert in that field to be able to make it go, and you weren't that person. So once again, they're just humans. They need like a podcast called "They're Just Humans." And again, this is I'm coming from a place of love and respect. This is not like hating on anybody. They all make mistakes. They're all potentially make mistakes. But Kevin seems to got his reputation in the ringer here. More so than like Mark Cuban, more so than any of the other ones. Because they were playing in the deep end with things that aren't regulated and potential to make lots and lots of money, but also the potential to go to zero. And that's what's happening. And then my question to you is, whenever you're going to do something, are you making sure that your word, your reputation, your soul isn't being compromised in the process? And that's something that I constantly been checking myself on, thinking about like, what can I do? What can I feel comfortable with? And how can I stay within the lane of, how I've, tried to run my life since I was a kid, and just feeling like, that's part of the whole being super thing, right? Is doing the best that I can and raising up the people around me to be the best that they can and enabling those people to be the best that they can. Raptor all says, "Hey Joe, love your vids. Tuning in late. What did Kevin do?" So Kevin, with the whole FTX thing, if you don't know much about it, I don't blame you. There's a lot. It's a lot involved. But just basically, my point is with that, with this is they're all humans. Hopefully, Kevin's telling the truth. For his sake, I hope that's the case. But at the same time, I feel like Kevin should have known better. There's just when something sounds too good to be true, it usually probably is. And if that's the case, then why were you not only investing with it, but taking money to be a spokesperson? And some people have said like, oh, all these YouTubers that have promoted FTX, all these big names that took money from FTX, they should all be donating the money. They should or at least a chunk of the money. And I can't say I disagree. I mean, it's their money to do what they want. But they got to live with themselves. They got to be able to look themselves in the mirror and say, I feel comfortable and confident in what what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And everybody finds a way to justify everything, right? So we just have to just keep in mind that they're still human. They make mistakes. They don't always get it right, and just because they got money doesn't necessarily make them all-knowing, superpowers in the world. It just means that they got, well, not in every case. I mean, a lot of cases you got really lucky. You did more of what made you lucky, and in those circumstances, and wealth builds wealth, right? Once you get the money, you can turn that into more money if you don't blow it all. So you don't do that part, and then you do more of the part that continues to bring in money, and next thing you have a lot of it, and then everybody wants to hear what you have to say, or be a spokesperson for something that was a Ponzi scheme. Not a great look for Kevin O'Leary. Jamaican, how do you pronounce that? Is it boy? Like boy? I hope it's boy. I really enjoy your content, man. Big up from Jamaica. That is awesome. Glad to have Jamaica in the house. Or Jamaican boy also says, what advice would you give to an entrepreneur with a product? And I patent first, or try to get production first? That is a great question. So when you're building, I think, to me, it depends on a lot of different factors, whether or not you should be trying to make that product a patent first. Patents are very expensive. On the low end, $8,000 to $10,000. You can do it yourself. You're gonna pull one of a couple of the strings, right? The time, energy, money. Those are the three strings you got. So you're gonna pull the time and the energy to do it yourself, or if you got the money, you can go and do that. Now, whether you should get a patent, I think it depends on where you want to head with it. Do you want to license it out to somebody? If you do, then you absolutely should get that patent. And spend the time, energy, and money to go get that, or time and energy if you're willing to go through the process. If you don't have the money to produce the product, or feel that it's too complicated for you to produce the product, or the minimum viable product that you can produce to get like version 1.0 out, or version 0.1 out, then so then you definitely want to go the patent route. If you can get the minimum viable product, it's like, what's version 1 look like? Then you get that out, get some sales, make a little bit of profit, take that money, and just, in some cases it's better to just fly under the radar. Or you could do a what's the trade secret route, right? That's an option as well. That I don't know as much about the trade secret route. But I don't think that costs any money, which is why some places go. Because the other reason is, depending on what it is, somebody could just reverse engineer it, and depending how the patent, it could get, just because you have a patent doesn't protect you. And you also need, of those three things, a lot of money to protect said patent. which makes it kind of difficult as well. So to me, I think if you're low on cash or you don't have a ton of cash but get version 0.1 out and get that into people's hands. Jamaican Boy says, I got a physical product prototype and thinking of going to China. It's not easy. It's real China is it's tough. A lot of people like to make it out to be like, oh, I just send it off and it gets made. I would say if you look at a great example of this in the YouTuber community is Mr. Linus Tech Tips himself. Linus Sebastian made his own screwdriver, and it took him over 2 years. And the thing is that screwdriver was not even a unique product. He basically took a product from another manufacturer that was local to him in Canada and was like, "Ooh, we want to make a bunch of these tweaks." And it still took him 2 years. And in that process, they got a Taiwanese, I believe, manufacturer who was eventually bought out by another tool manufacturer halfway through. Like, they were like real close to getting it done, and they basically were like, "Yep. We're not producing your screwdriver anymore." It's like way on the back burner. Like, okay, cool. So now we're like back at not quite square one, but pretty far back. So going to China is tough. I think it really comes down to what kind of product, what the pricing of the product is. I think the best thing to do almost always is minimum viable product. Get it in the hands of people so you can get feedback. Get it in the hands of people so you can find out they will actually buy it. Get it in the hands of people so you know what to sell it for. Like, because it's one thing to say, hey, what would you pay for this water bottle, right? But like, anybody could tell you what they're going to pay. That's not, like, until they are actually giving you the money, that's not enough. That is not enough. You gotta make sure you go through and get people, get that feedback, get people to actually pay for the thing, and then go from there. Solo says, "Hey Joe, love your videos. Kind of late here in Brazil, but I really agree with you. I think it's funny how he likes to cultivate this persona that he is smart and knows how to invest. But the moment it blows up in his face, he uses the "I was dumb" excuse. I did the dumb. I got the dumb. Yeah. Look, again, we all make mistakes. They're still human. Kevin's still a human. But I think that's the important part. I think that's why people shouldn't put people on pedestals like that to that level. Especially when they want to come off as being like some "I know better than everybody" aspect. Like, it just, I don't know. It's just the way I've always been, right? Like, not trying to chase influencers and try to, I just be myself, recognize that everybody else, I mean, a lot of the people that I know in business are not the smartest people, but they figured out how to do the thing that they're really good at, and they were able to make it, make money with it. One of our close friends is dyslexic, but he's been able to make a multi-million-dollar empire, in the trucking industry. So, they're just people. We're all just people, and as long as you keep that intact, I think it makes life a lot easier to not have that to borrow a term from somebody who borrowed a term from somebody, to borrow a term from Larry who borrowed a term from somebody, Larry from this channel, in past videos. The paranoia thing, you got to let it go. Stop comparing yourself to like what other people are or have or done, and live your life, because otherwise it's going to pass you by. Wasima, I hope I said that right. Wasima. How you doing? Look, Cutest, good to see you in the chat as well. Michael Superbacker, welcome. Good to see you in the chat as well. Raf Draws. Wait, is that the real Michael Superbacker? That is the real Michael Superbacker for sure. People use the Chinese. Look who says, I think Kevin got caught up in the crypto fraud. Yeah, he did. He got caught with his pants down with the FTX thing. I think more because he's a spokesperson for it than a paid spokesperson for it. than just because he was utilizing it. Let's see. Hey, Raptor Alls, hope you're having a very Merry Christmas. I hope everybody's having a great, wherever Christmas is right now, because like I'm in the East Coast. It's the day before Christmas Eve, still here for another 2 hours, but it's gonna be Christmas. It doesn't get more jolly than that in the over the course of the year. Wasima says, I love Kevin. He's my favorite shark. I like Kevin a lot for his brutal honesty, even though I don't like the way that he, beats people up in past seasons. This season, and I see season 13, he was doing the woosah stuff, where he's trying to take his anger management and thing. I think you can be honest without being mean. And I think Lori tries the best at doing that. Barbara probably is the least, because she's like, I'm going to be like brutally honest. I'm going to offend you and then kind of say something a little nice before I go out. But I think Lori's kind of got that mastered the most. And maybe Mark and Robert are like right behind her on that front. But I like Kevin because he does care about the money. And I think that when it comes to especially small businesses, the money is the lifeblood there, because you don't have a lot of it to throw around, and you'll end up in trouble really quick and all that. So I think that's a key point that I really do appreciate from him. Jamaican Boy says, do I have a class? I do. I don't know if it's still available. Let me see what I have up here. I mean, I don't generally promote my classes. But one thing I do want to promote is the Independent Podcast Conference. If you want to have your own content like creation, this is going to be our 8th in-person event. It's so much fun every year. It used to be called the Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference. That's why there's a banner in the background, but it's called the Independent Podcast Conference now. We changed it in 2019. But yeah, if you go to shopsuperjoe.com, there's 2 master classes or 3. There's a couple of them. Virtual conference. So there's a sales master class right now. That's the only one that's business related. The other ones are content related. Live streaming master class. That was fun to do with Ross Brand. There's a class I did with Larry about launching your own podcast with purpose. That one was a lot of fun as well. And Tim, I enjoyed doing the virtual conference because that's all we did in 2020 and 2021 was all virtual conferences. So all that's over at shopsuperjoe.com. You also get my books too, like the Sales Won't Save Your Business book. I think you can buy a signed copy of it. I can personalize it and send it out to you. This book is really like more than a class. There's like spots to write in it, and each of the chapters. So there's there's like questions and stuff that go into the there we go. There's questions that go into it, and it's a lot of things to think about, a lot of stories, not a ton of stories, because I'm more of a practical person than let me tell a bunch of stories, and there's definitely no stories in here that didn't happen to me. So and I think only like one of the chapters really talks about a situation in the company part of Truck Parts, that everything else in it is just really like practical, getting your noggin thinking about what you're doing and how it's perceived on the outside and all of that. But you can get that over at shopsuperjoe.com, or you can get it at Amazon. There's a digital copy. I mean, if you want, I think the digital copies, you can get the 4-book bundle, all 4 books that I've written, for $15.99. But I appreciate you asking. Let's see, where were we here? Look, Hugh says, I agree with Joe. Kevin is only human. We all make mistakes. We do. I just think that Kevin's gonna maybe pay for this mistake in the long term, and how much people actually trust him. But if he gets to keep his spot on Shark Tank, then he'll probably be able to get sail through this in the long term. Rap Charles says, nice Christmas decorations, by the way. Merry Christmas, Joe. And to you, Michael Legend. Yeah, these, thank you. These are actually foam party hats from Shark Tank. I had, oh, crap, what's his name? Oh, I can see it in my head. I can't think of what, I want to say it starts with a C, but I'm probably wrong. Foam party hats. Oh, Manuel. Yes, when we had Manuel on the show, he was kind enough to send some foam party hats over, and we even did a review here on the channel for it. Foam party hats. So you can see we had some fun with those hats, and then we still got them. So I plan on keeping them because they are quite expensive. They, for being foam, they are handmade and quite pricey. So very much appreciated and happy to have them in the background, stuff like that. And I wore that hat to my daughter's classroom to read the book Elf to her class. So it was a lot of fun to show up and have this like giant Christmas tree hat on. Wasima says, like they produce things for so cheap over there and sell off to make huge profits. The other thing to think about with China, or really anybody, is like once they have the molds, like they might knock you off, and going to protect that is going to be real tough. That is definitely a tough prospect. So let's see. Wasima says, I find him entertaining compared to the others. Yeah, Kevin definitely knows how to be entertaining. If he wasn't entertaining, he wouldn't be on the show. I mean, he was the least next to probably Robert, was like the least known entity on Shark Tank. I don't know, maybe Barber too. Lucius says, I like his honesty, but he believes in tough love. He definitely does. Wasima says, I think Kevin is hilarious, especially because someone that could be telling a sad story and he goes straight back to business. Yeah, he's only cried a couple of times that I've ever seen. One was pretty recently. I think with the shaving cream guy, legendary legacy shave. Yeah. Here you go. So he cried because I used it in the thumbnail there. But let's see. I think Kevin is hilarious, especially because someone's going to start the business. Raptor All says, I'm from India. We have our own Shark Tank here since last year. It's loads of fun. You should check it out for fun since it's a large country. The business solutions are usually crazy innovative. So I didn't realize that it's only been there for a year. I was under the impression that that the Shark Tank in India had been around for a while. So that's news to me. It's only been around for a little bit. And I actually had a friend who was doing some interning in India. I want to say I'm pretty sure from the States. He was in, I guess, like the Silicon, I forget what the name of the area is, but he was in the Silicon Valley equivalent in India for some internship time. And yeah, I mean, I think they're, well, I think, look, was it the whatever is the necessity of all, the mother of all invention, right? Problems or the necessity is the mother of all invention, right? So you work with what you have. You see problem, you fix problem. And I think that, that's one of the things that, and I've never actually watched the documentary. Was it Sicko from Michael Moore? But I remember people talking about like how, like, because from that film, it highlighted the fact that like in Cuba they don't just have like rubber gloves and they throw out the rubber gloves and get next rubber gloves like for medical purposes and stuff. Like they have to come up with solutions because you just don't have those supplies. And I guess we kind of, maybe to a lesser degree, saw that here with the pandemic in the last 2 years when we were running out of supplies. So, like medical surprise, medical supplies. and people were having to reuse PPP, the personal protection PPP or PPE stuff. So, it's just a lot of solutions that have to be thought of when you don't just have the ability to just go get more, and you're running out. You got to get creative with what you have. Wasima said, "What did Kevin do? I joined late." So I was just, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but just the fact that he's promoted lots of things in the past. I pointed out his Cameo, which at one point was it was $500 flat, and he would promote pretty much anything, which just seemed really dumb to me. Like, it's like you're supposed to be this multi-millionaire, and I guess in some ways it's a way to like look, if perspective is key in a lot of things. It's like, oh, it's a way for me to give back to, say, small businesses or people. So like, oh, it's only $500 and like I'll promote your business. I guess, I don't know. There's a couple different ways. Perspective is important on that. So there's a couple different ways to look at it. I just don't think that was great. And here we are. Like, all he needed was one of those to like not be, to be a bigger problem than like an FTX sized problem that he, got $500 and then his face is on it. And it's like, oh, wow. Like, oh, but it was just a cameo. I didn't, but it's like, yeah. So, I mean, the other thing is due diligence when it comes to him, or anybody for that matter. Like, was he really as scrutinizing with FTX as he was, say, with other people? Because, he was paid, $12 to $15 million to be a spokesperson. And I think, I mean, there's a lot of that stuff that goes on. I know it's, the FTC, you're supposed to like say when you're sponsored by somebody. By the way, Phone Party Hats is not sponsoring any of this. It was a nice thing that they wanted to do for us. But you're supposed to disclose those kinds of things. And I mean, if you look on YouTube, like there's plenty of examples where that is definitely not the case. I mean, look at all the people that were doing gambling, right? On I don't know if it was specifically on YouTube, but like Twitch, and all, like, just, like they're playing with house money. Like, I lost $1 million or whatever. I'm so rich and da da da. And like, yeah, okay. So, and somebody's going to believe it, and people were signing up because they wouldn't be getting $1 million of house money to play with if they weren't bringing in people through their gambling videos, gambling streams. Wasima says, how are the Phone Party Hats protectable? Surely they're not unique and can be copied. Sure, they could be, but not everything has to be, right? So, a great big example of this is I was watching a documentary on Netflix, and that, the early days of Netflix, and it's like they didn't have something that was protectable, and they even knew that, like, because originally you could buy DVDs off of their website. They knew that at some point other sites would catch up and do that. So they knew that, like, the only way that they had a differentiator was if they built a better, more efficient mousetrap for renting DVDs. Even though most people in the beginning didn't rent DVDs, they were buying DVDs, and then they were like, we'll just let Amazon do that. We'll send the business to Amazon. When people want to rent DVDs, they'll send them to us. And it wasn't until they flipped it and made it so that people could rent up to 4 DVDs at a time and then swap them out. That's when, it clicked for people to like rent DVDs. Otherwise, it's like, oh, well, if I can only rent one DVD and got to wait 2 days for it, like, what am I doing here? Right? Like, I got to know exactly what movie I want to watch like 2 days ahead of time, and then another 2 days to get the other, or 4 days out at that point to get another one. Locutus says, Legal Eagle got Rudy Giuliani to do a cameo, and the cameo wasn't a channel in joke slating Rudy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't I don't know. When so one of the things that a bunch of years, I guess a bunch of years ago at this point, like 5 years ago, when I switched my show over from doing the it was called the Dreamers podcast, and it was just a podcast only. It wasn't in YouTube or anything like that for the most part. Though there is some videos you can go back on this channel and go flip it and go back to the beginning. You can see some of the videos. Like I'm actually holding my daughter in some of those videos because she was like just born while I'm doing these pre-shows. Because I wasn't holding her during the interview part. I would hold her through the pre-shows, but the pre-shows were done with me and my boy Matt, who have done some live streaming here with. And those sometimes would be like an hour long. The pre-show would be an hour long before I did popped in the interview afterwards. But in 2017, I moved the show from the Dreamers podcast to the business podcast with Joe Pardo, Super Joe Pardo. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for sponsors, and some people are like, oh, well, you should create a Patreon or something. And I'm like, yeah, I could, but I just feel weird having people go and pay on Patreon or donate to the show or something like that. And it's this is a show for business, right? But I think at the time my demographic that I wanted to reach, the avatar I wanted to reach wasn't really who I was reaching, because a lot of my audience was actually female, and they were like 40-plus-year-old females from the Dreamers podcast, which that wasn't who I was intending to reach either, but that's just who ended up vibing with the show. And I was trying to change that, and part of it, I think, the saying perception is reality. Well, it is. Unfortunately, it is. I don't love it. I don't agree with it all of the time. But it is. And I didn't feel like having a donate button or go to Patreon and Patreon was still relatively new in 2017. Didn't feel like the right, it would send the right message, right? And that's why I feel like having things like having yourself up on Cameo, does that send the right message? And I think that's why you have to ask yourself all the time, am I doing something that is for that avatar I'm trying to reach, and does it really make sense? Big picture, right? Does it really push me in the direction that I want to go? Because I could talk all night about when I left my family's business and I started up the podcast just a month and a half later. There was a lot of people that are like, oh, when are you gonna go get a job or do something? What are you going to do for money? Because this is never going to work. You're never going to be able to write books and, have a podcast, which I had never heard of the word. I mean, not me, but that person had never heard of the word podcast before I spoke that word to them. And I'm like, look, here's, I knew in my head and in paper form, I knew where I wanted to go. I knew who I wanted to help. And I knew that I was going, I knew I was going to get there. How many years it would take? It's a lot. It's a lot of years. And, some years were more lucrative than others when it comes to who I got to work with and all that. But part of it is also me, because, to a certain extent, I agree that people should pay charge what they're worth. I agree that if you charge nothing, that it's worth nothing to, certain people. But I always wanted to make sure that I felt confident in what I was capable of bringing to the table and what I could help, what the areas that I could help in, and that they were worth the money that I was bringing to the table. But a lot of that comes down to time, right? How much time do you have available to give to people, and then how much do you want to have them pay for in that time, and whether or not they are the right avatar that can even pay for the thing that you're trying to have them pay for. And so it was a lot of internal conflicts. Plus I watched that show Bullshit by Penn and Teller at one point, and they did a whole episode on coaching and how BS it was, and it put a fork in my mind for a long while, and it took my friend Sam out of Australia, Samantha Riley. You can go check her out. I did the Business Geeks podcast with her. Here, you can check that out on this channel. It took her some time of beating me up and saying, Joe, if you're not out there helping people, then all those fraudulent people are out there helping people, and they're not really helping people. They're just helping put money in their pockets, or putting the wrong image in other people's minds and giving other people paranoia and stuff like that. And that's why it's so important that like you get out there and you do what's inside inside your heart. And that's what turned me on to like, okay, you know what, I'm going to go really hard into it. And that started back in 2017, and then we had our first kid in 2016, so it was like there was a lot of things going on over the course of those first couple of years. We had our second kid, Dom, in 2018. But yeah, it's just so I think the most important thing that you as an entrepreneur can do is know your buttons, know what's important to you, and know that where the line is, what you're able to what you're willing to compromise and like justify away, and where you're not, and then like try your best to stick to that. Like, we're all human, we're all gonna make mistakes, but you got to try figure that out so you can sleep well at night, so you can feel confident in what you do and not for anybody else. All of this has to make you feel how you want to feel. That's I'm not here to tell you how to feel. I hope that it's to feel great and to raise up other people around you, to be the greatness inside of them as well. But the realist in me is you gotta figure out what that is. What is great to you? What is that level of expectations that you have for yourself, and what can you do to help other people to get there? Locutus says Blockbuster had the chance to buy Netflix for $50 million. Netflix would handle all the online distribution. Blockbuster would handle physical distribution. Blockbuster didn't agree. Yeah, I mean, they didn't. Wasima said, did Blockbuster want to handle both the physical and the online distribution? Lucia says correct about Blockbuster. Blockbuster had their own video service, but it was poorly executed. And I think that's the key word there, poorly executed. Most of what we can accomplish is all about execution, right? It's all about what's that term? One of our team members had it on his sense of urgency, right? What sense of urgency do you have, and what sense of urgency does your company have to be able to provide the solutions for your customer base? So, yes, that Blockbuster, there's so many companies that missed it. I was watching what's that channel? The Businessman here on YouTube. Ding Dam. He does some great videos, really in-depth videos looking at the numbers and stuff, and the historical values of businesses. And I was just watching it about Circuit City and how many bad choices they made, one after another, and then coincidentally there was recession and things that happened that really just put the fork in them and just skewered them. So all these combinations of ads or choices, like Blockbuster, right? Not being able to see the future. And not being able to being able to see the future, sure, they had their own service, but their service sucks, so nobody used it, and then they became irrelevant as time marched on. So Wasimi asked, "Are phone party hosts protected by copyright or something?" Yes, copyright would be applicable, I guess, for the specific designs, but like you could make your own like Christmas tree or snowman. Would phone party hats be protected with design patents too? They'd have to apply to them first. I would say that if they could be protected, it would probably be the method in which they're held together or put together. Maybe a machine, like a specific machine that puts them together, if they had a machine that put it together. Or I don't know, a technique would probably be a trade secret at that point. Yeah, I think that's what you would that would be it. I don't think you could you could copyright the specific like snowman, like this specific snowman, I guess, like if making him into a character and build like a brand around him. But I don't know that would be worth it, because like that probably could be easily knocked off. And again, you really can't copyright or patent anything that you're not willing to go and defend. Because if you're not defending it, then you then you ain't really, then you're not, then you have no protection. And that it takes money and time and energy to do. What do you mean by common or unique theme? Would the foam hats be eligible for a design patent? I'm not sure. They're completely original. And does Dyson have copyrights of the designs, or is it suitable for design patents? Oh, Company Man. Yes, Locutus, that's who I'm talking about. Yes, Company Man. I thought for some reason I thought it was Businessman. Definitely got to go check that out. Great channel. Great channel. I was just watching his KFC video. It was all about Kentucky Fried Chicken and the history of KFC, and how Colonel Sanders in the 70s hated what KFC had become. Really sad. It's really sad. Does Dyson have copyrights of the design, or is it suitable? I want to say it's the patents, and then the copyrights would be like for logos, maybe manuals. I don't know if you can copyright a color. I mean, maybe within the vacuum market, you could maybe get away with doing that. Because if you use like the same the same purple or something, then people will be like, "Oh, it's confusing." And once you can make that argument, then you can open the door for like lawsuits and stuff. I was asking about the design patent, not utility patent. So, yeah, well, they wouldn't be utility patent, because like it's a vacuum. It's a blower motor. I don't think, unless they did something drastically different on how they were able to make suction happen or blowing happen, I don't think that they would be able to do a utility patent on that. But they might have some. I mean, somebody probably owns the utility patent for vacuums somewhere. I didn't know you had to go to court. That is expensive and time consuming. Yep, you get 3, right? Everybody's got the same 3: time, energy, and money, and it can take all 3 of those. If you have a ton of money, then you could just spend money and like get somebody else to handle it for you. But it's still probably going to take some of your energy, because you're going to be thinking about it and fighting it. And the other thing is, you have to be on the lookout for other people stealing those designs, right? Like that's still a problem. So it is time consuming. I mean, what's his face? I think Kevin has mentioned it at least once, probably a couple times. about like, hey, you got the patent, that's cool, but like you're gonna need someone to go and defend that patent because you're gonna get knocked off like tomorrow. And when you do, I'm there for you. I will be that guy. I will, send my people into court and get it taken care of, or send those takedown notices. So there's lots of it's not all cut and dry just because you win the patent. I have a friend in the patent office too. So if you guys have like, I don't know about like super specific questions, but like anything that you maybe can't find an answer on Amazon or on Google or search, let me know, and I will pass that question along. He's a patent attorney that works for the office. So if someone copies something and they think it's infringement, the only way to resolve it is to go to court. Not necessarily. So Amazon has been, Amazon is a good and a bad example. Amazon has knocked off people's stuff. They find out what's being sold and then they've knocked it off, and they went to, they had to testify against that. They said they didn't do it. But Peak Design, if you haven't seen that video, they actually made a whole commercial about Amazon knocking off their bag and selling it for like under half of what they sell their bag for. They made a whole commercial explaining like why their bag is still better, even though Amazon went and clearly knocked off their bag. But what you can do, and I forget who, one of the Shark Tank entrepreneurs I was talking to, they have like a contact at Amazon, and they're consistently looking in, like they're always knocking down knockoffs, because they have the patent, they have the contact at Amazon, and they're just swatting it down. Now that doesn't mean that somebody can't go and like make their own website and go and try and sell it through SEO and stuff, but Amazon being the biggest, it's the easiest way, it's the easiest path. But yeah, that's the easiest way. So you don't have to necessarily go to court for it. But he says, but in the USA, you have to have the copyright registered before you can go to court. So there are ways to, like, something I was always told, and I don't know how true it is. So do some research. Was that if you like one way you could copyright something is to mail it to yourself in an envelope that you just don't open. So like you take the designs and stuff, you mail it to yourself, so that way it has stamp. Like that's not protectable in the sense of like you can send that off to like Amazon and be like, hey, I have a patent for it. It's a piece of proof that you could take to court with you if you needed to protect the fact that you had an idea. So it's a way, but it's more of a piece of evidence than like a bulletproof way to make that work. LaSala, hey, what's going on? Good to see you. I asking too, Joe. How did people not know? Yeah, so I'm assuming you're talking about FTX and Kevin not knowing that this was like a big scam Ponzi scheme thing. Yeah, I mean, look, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably isn't. I'm gonna say that since like I was showing, I don't know if you've been in here, but like Kevin's willing to do a cameo for $1,500, businesses for $6,500. That price was not that high in the past. I wonder actually if I could, let's see, let's go to the Wayback Machine. For anyone who doesn't know, it's like a time machine for the internet. The internet knows all. Once it's on the internet, it ain't coming off. Let's see if we can go back and see. No, it won't come up. Oh, wait. Mr. Wonderful. Here we go. Let's see. Make it a little bit bigger here for you guys. See what this looked like. I feel like I should say lttstore.com every time I take a swig. So here is 2020. It was $1,200, but you'll notice it doesn't say business listing then either. So let's see, how far back can we go back to 2019? Let's go back as far back as we can go. So this says not $9.99. I wonder if I know I saw 500. I'm like very confident, but apparently this doesn't go further back than 2019. So I can't confirm it, but I'm like 98% sure that that's the case, and I'm willing to bet. I think I have like the messages. If I went back to like messages between me and Larry about it, but I don't know if that was in 2019. I don't remember. Maybe I don't know. Let's check another one. Maybe the price had gone down at some point because he wasn't getting enough traction. No, it's 1,200 there. Or maybe it was under like a different page or something than Mr. Wonderful at the time. Because this is only just showing literally just cameo.com/Mr. Wonderful. So I don't know. I think promoting anything willy-nilly without any kind of backup or anything like that is kind of sketchy, especially when we're talking about people's money. Oh, Basima, your comments keep disappearing. Are you commenting? I mean, I see this. Does anyone know why? Maybe are you typing too long of a comment? Because I think that it cuts off after so many characters. I'm gonna say like 200 characters or something like that. Let's see. I wonder if are you commenting? Oh, I see Michael Super Backer over there going to the back catalog like I was talking about earlier. Dreamers Podcast pre-show from 2016 with Kim Barrett. I haven't talked to Kim in a little while. Need to catch up with her. Let's see do we have any held for review comments? Nope, not currently. Not currently. Yeah, it's a few sentences. That's probably why it got cut off or didn't send, if I had to guess. But love it. That's the first video on the channel? Like the first video? As I feel like it should go. There was ones before that. I bet you there's ones before that. I know there's got to be more than that, but why can't I? That's weird. Recently uploaded. So you can't flip it anymore. You used to be able to like go to oldest. That's really dumb. That's really, really, really dumb. Why? Wow. That's terrible. That's really terrible. Oh, let's go. Oh, we can flip here for the date. So yeah, he did. He went all the way back to the first video that's on the channel. And I guess that is the first video on this. There is another Joe Pardo channel that I have that has a handful of videos, including a video. So me and my wife, to announce the birth of Ava, did a Who's the Boss announcement video. Like we remade the intro to Who's the Boss. For anybody who actually knows, who knows what that is. I don't know how many people here would know what that is. Let's see. Somebody from a different country copies something. China, UK, Germany. That's a great question. You got to get patents in those countries to be able to go and defend them. I don't know that you'd be able to defend them with just an American patent. So Lokia says, you're thinking of the poor man's copyright with the sealed postmarked envelope, like you say. It can be used as evidence in court, but it's not the case of whipping out the envelope and say, I win. Yeah, definitely not that. It's definitely not that. But it is a way of doing it if, as Lokia says, it's the poor man's copyright. It is one way to do that. Yeah, if you type in like who's the boss parody birth announcement, where's it at? How did it not show up? I searched for it the other day and it came up. It was like the 4th or 5th birth announcements. Wow, why can't I find this? Did I like private it? That's really weird. Can I type in Joe Pardo? Just channels. Like where's okay, channels. It's this channel. So this channel has videos going back further. This goes back 13 years. Here's Melissa doing the can dance in Disney World. Where is the? Oh, if I took it down, I'll put it back up. I don't know why it would have taken it down though. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So this is the. Where we interviewed a bunch of our family members and friends and things and put it all together in I want to say it's like a 30-some week podcast. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't think the site's up anymore. birthpodcast.com looks. I don't think I still own it anymore, but they are all available. If you go to Facebook, at least I think they're available. Yeah, they're not available. Well, it didn't take me where I thought it would take me. Okay, cool. Just unless is this it? Nope, still takes me just Facebook Watch. Not very helpful. I have to upload them. At some point so they can be available. Let's see. Oh man, it's already 10:42. I promised that was only going to be an hour. I scroll all the way down. Michael scrolled all the way down, but I'm on my cell phone. Yeah, it probably took you a while to scroll all the way down. Hopefully this video doesn't get copyright claimed now that the Who's the Boss theme was in it. Oh man, I'll just have to mute that part later on. I was limited for character space. Assuming the person is based in the USA and someone in the UK, Germany, China, etc. is doing the same thing. If the soundtrack to your video was Queen's "I Want to Break Free," it would go well. Thanks. Well, that was the theme song to Who's the Boss. Yeah, they definitely don't make them like they did in the 80s. That's for sure. It's different. It's a different time. Let's see. The cues above the point you read. So yeah, so you're supposed to, as far as I know, and again, I'm not a patent lawyer, so not patent lawyer advice, but I'm pretty sure you have to go and get patents in all of those countries, all of which are probably pretty pricey as well, to make that work. Michael Superbacker says, I don't use TikTok, but how does TikTok and Twitch streams get away using copyrighted music? So Twitch and maybe TikTok are basically paying for the copyright music. They're paying the royalties because they want people to continue to use the platform. Twitch stopped doing that a little while ago, which it's weird because I have some friends that DJ on Twitch, and I'm not quite sure how they go about doing it without it like shutting down their streams. I mean, that's one of the problems, like in general, that I have, because I would love to DJ here on YouTube, like, you know, while we're talking, like I mean, I was doing it on Facebook a little bit during the pandemic, but it would it'd let you go like 20 minutes and then shut you down, and it's like, oh god. Then I have other friends that would like DJ for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Even today, I have friends that like play all kinds of copyrighted music, and their streams never get shut down. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, I kind of know, but when it comes to music, it's tough. When it's just spoken word, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit easier to massage the system. But yeah. Locuta says you should do a video asking for questions about copyright and then ask your friend who to perhaps come on the channel to explain from the horse's mouth. I don't know if Jeff would come on the channel. I can ask him. I mean, he might not come on with his face, but he might come on. I'll ask him. Yeah, I'll text him. Well, I'll probably text him tomorrow to wish him a Merry Christmas. So after he texts me back, the honey pot will be set. He'll fall for the trap, and then I'll see if I can rope him in to come on here and ask him. Steven says also, are copyright lawyers specialized in each industry? So like music lawyer, game lawyer, etc. I would say yes, most likely. If you want a good one, then and you're talking specifically for an industry, yes, the answer is probably. You would want somebody specialized in that has experience in that industry. Because the other thing is, it's not just experience, it's also connections and networking. So like that's what you're paying for. that's really what you're, you know, a good chunk of what you're paying for is the networks and experience that they have access to. Michael says, is that a business idea, making it easy to use copyrighted music for YouTube videos? So there is a service that there's a couple of different music services out there. I've used, what's the one that's like really heavily promoted? I know there's one called Licked that I think they give you access to pop music and stuff like that, to be able to like, you know, utilize that music. But when it comes to Epidemic Sound, that's who I've used in the past for music. Like when I was doing vlogs and stuff, I used Epidemic Sound because it just make it easy. It's like $30, like $15 a month or something like that, and you get unlimited access to the music. And as long as you're you know, when you stop paying, all your videos are still cleared. It's just going forward, you can't use any of those songs. So Epidemic Sound, I think, is like among the best. But yeah, I heard about Licked from one of the YouTubers I watched that does YouTube growth, like a YouTube growth channel. And they talked about like, oh, you could get use this Taylor Swift song. Like, I don't know how much all that costs, but it'd be nice. You know, it'd be nice to be able to use those songs and not get you know, copyright claimed or even striked for that matter. You probably just get claimed, but Michael says a couple months ago, Ludwig hired a symphony orchestra to play a few songs to make them copyright free for everyone. Yeah, I think I heard about that. I've never watched any of Ludwig's things. I did listen to his interview with Graham Stephan on the Iced Coffee Hour. That was interesting. I didn't really know anything about it. I'd heard the name a couple of times, listened to that interview. Really interesting guy. It seems neat. I don't know that I'd watch his content. I mean, I watch PewDiePie, but I don't know. I'm not trying to watch gameplay videos at this point. Wasima says, because I feel like each industry and what is copyright infringement is, so it is video game music. As long as it's not like music is, you can play that in video games or in streams, but not the other, not music. Which is why some games have like a creator mode. So you flick that on and then it doesn't play any copyrighted music so that you can stream it. Knight Rider says, Super Joe, big fan. Always enjoy your content. Keep it up and happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, Knight Rider. Thank you so much for being here. Love the name, by the way. Huge fan of Knight Rider. Huge fan. Mark says, Joe, Mark from Bali, Indonesia. I have another friend. Ania Sonia is in Bali. She wants me to come out there and host a conference at some point. And maybe when the world stops being so crazy, we will do that. Keep up the good work and add my book to your bookshelf. Cool. I didn't. What's the name of the book? Where can I get it? On Amazon, hopefully. The only thing about books is I personally am a slow reader, so I don't really read books. So if you have an audiobook, my book is an audio. Two of the four books I've written are in audiobook format. Partly because of that, because I just prefer to listen than to read, because I'm just such a slow reader. Because I have to read every single word in my head, and it just takes too much patience. Look here, says Mr. Wonderful has an MBA degree. He said that his MBA was overrated. However, he said the connections he made were priceless, and that is true. I was trying to explain this to one of our techs at the shop. He was talking about his son going to college and getting good grades and stuff like that, and not going out and partying and stuff. And I said, well, that's awesome, but part of the reason you go to college is to make those connections, and make those friendships that are going to take you into your industry, because you're networking with people, hopefully, in the industry in which you're, hoping to get into. So, I think that, while it's good to get great grades, they're all going to end up with the same piece of paper at the end of the day, right? So the network is the great equalizer, differentiator there. Let's see. He has an MBA in business. Okay, I thought he said he did psychology. I think he might have minored in psychology. I feel like he might have said that in one of his videos that he's done over on his channel. Kevin is smart. I think he does silly things on Cameo because that's the type of platform it is, and he sees it as a way to make quick cash. But when people throw around the fact that $500,000 to Mark is nothing, or 300, 200,000, 500 to 300,000 is nothing to these millionaires. Why don't they just invest? It's because it's not nothing. And I think that, what do we need quick cash for if we're that rich, right? What is $6,000 going to do is he promoting it to donate it to somewhere that $6,000 could make a difference? I didn't see that on there. So I don't know. I just, or maybe that is just his donation money. I don't know. He takes that and then throws it at to make donations to. But $6,000 is nothing if we're for really multimillionaires here. Still, every dollar counts, right? But in the scheme of what we're talking about, it's not that much money. I think he studied psychology, but I don't think he has a degree in it. Yeah, I think he did just study it. Wasima said, I find his YouTube channel so helpful. I've watched a couple of Kevin's videos where he answers does Q&As. Yeah, I've watched a lot of his channel. I think his channel is really helpful. I think there's a lot of great information that you can get out of it, and not to spend your money with FTX specifically. But that's the thing. Like, everything comes into question. And it's like, you were a paid spokesperson for this, and then, it's like, what else are you, what else have you shilled that, like, is on the brink of financial ruin? I don't know. Maybe nothing. Hopefully nothing, for everybody's sake. But I don't know. The Fool in the Rain. What's going on? Happy holidays. The key behind wealth is knowing how not to spend money regardless of the amount. My grandfather said that to me when I was very young. And into, I've always been into computers and stuff. And I remember him telling me, it's like, Bill Gates. He's like, how Bill Gates gets to stay rich? He's like, because he shops at the Goodwill store. He's not wearing fancy clothes and big watches and driving big old cars. Like, he doesn't spend the money, which, I mean, he does. He did, and he does, and he's not a great example. Like, fast forward 30 years later, not a great example. But I think it's just, it's the forward facing persona too of what they want to, be perceived as. And, that's, look, you gotta, like, live, yeah, no, he does have a massive yacht. I don't know if he had a massive, I mean, look, when my grandfather was telling me this, we're talking like 1990. I was probably like 6 or 7 years old, 8 years old. I mean, I was in the computers at a pretty young age. Like, I want to say by the age of 5, I was really tuned into what was, computers were and everything like that. So it's just different. It's just different. Brandon, we've been talking about this. I've been on stream for an hour and a half now, man. Just talking about, like, Kevin, all these people that are like multimillionaires, billionaires, they're still just people. And that we can't just take everything that they say as the word of, I don't want to say the word of God, but, like, you can't take it as, like, it is what it is, right? These people are still people. They do things that are not great in a lot of cases. And, whether Kevin knew or not knew, as late as, I guess as late as November, he was asked the question, would you invest in FTX if Sam Bankman-Fried came to you and said, I have this other thing and I need money? And his answer was yes. Yes, I would. So, yeah. I think you can patent the book if it's Gates has a massive yacht with a helicopter. Yeah, I don't know if he had that. Like, again, we're talking like 93. So I don't know that he had that kind of money back then. Margaret, I think Joe, I have another idea for you. Damon John has some videos breaking down pitches and offers he made on Shark Tank. He has Scrub Daddy and Scholarly on his channel. Worth reviewing the videos. So I've watched those. I actually have a comment. I thought it was really funny. It was funny, but it's not funny. Somebody was like, "Oh, Damon, you're too old to be doing this YouTube thing," and I don't know, just somebody just trying to hate on him, and, like, people came to Damon's defense, and I get comments like that all the time. So I just think it's funny. It's like, you can have all that success, you can have all the accolades and the TV, spots and everything, and you still have people coming out to be like, you don't know what you're talking about. And again, not that they do, because like Damon's got his hand caught in the cookie jar too. So just like Mark has, just like Kevin has, I don't know if Robert, we were talking earlier about Robert, right? And do I still have it here? I guess I don't have it I do. It's right here. Robert and his carshield.com ad campaign that I didn't even know about until somebody in the comments let us know about it here in the super community. So, Bill, said Bill Gates was rare artwork and expensive cars, etc. He was wise with his money. Yeah, well, he wasn't. I mean, he is buying up farmland. I want to say I heard somewhere read somewhere that he was like, he owns the most farmland in the United States at this point, which is scary. Not good. That one person can monopolize like that farm land where we need food to come from. Not good. Assuming that they do value money, hence why they don't invest in every business. Nope, that is very true. So how come they view something like 300,000 as pocket change? Well, they don't view it as pocket change. I mean, when people come into the tank, the higher the amount, the less likely you are to get a deal, right? Once you get past like $200,000, you're a lot less likely to get a deal. 300,000 is tough. It's still pretty tough. I mean, unless you're giving up a significant portion of the business, it's pretty tough to get a deal at that point. I gotta turn this heater on above me here because I don't know if that's gonna put a light on my head. I might have a sniper dot showing on my head in a second here. I promise it's just an infrared heater. It is not Mr. Wonderful or anybody. But yeah, so it's definitely not pocket change, and that's you gotta be smart about the money, because the money will dry up and go away very quickly. If you're not careful. So I guess I'm not. Oh, I have a red spot right there. I think there. I can kind of see it. Yeah, I can kind of see it. Robert is so boring, no offense. I liked Robert probably the best for a while. They don't look boring here. Come on, man. He's like yelling at the camera. He's like, buy CarShield. I made money. Like, because I needed, some cash from CarShield when I have like a $500 million company or whatever. Like, that's not enough, right? And I think that's that's the word, right? What is enough? What is enough? What is enough for you, and what is enough for the people around you? And when one of the things that was, that you have to consider is like, if the carrot is always being moved out in front of you, right? Like, you get more money, you get a new circle of people. Okay, now what do they got? And like you're buying the normal Ferrari, and they're buying the one of a kind, or like the 5 ever made Ferrari that was made, ever made, period. And it's like, wow, like, how do I get that car? How do I get into that, like, that level of like absurdness of like, there's 5 of these cars, and now I own one of those 5 in the world. That's why I think it's just so important for you to like get your compass and figure out like what is enough. And then always, be check in with yourself and know like, what was a loud bang? Know what's, know where that line is for you. Wasim asked what he's planning to do with the land. I don't know, but I mean, he clearly wants to own a lot of. He wants to be a farmer, apparently. and he couldn't decide where he wanted to farm. He's like, the answer is yes, and we're gonna farm everywhere. But I don't know. Hopefully, it's not anything bad that he's planning on doing with it. I still think he should probably be investigated from the Epstein situation a lot more than he probably may have been or is. But who knows? Maybe it'll be another year or two before anything comes out, because they're just trying to like unravel all the strings before they go after him. American Express Centurion card. I've never even heard of a Centurion card. Is a good sign of your wealth. You know what the problem with American Express is? I have an American Express, and you can't spend it everywhere. There's a lot of places that won't take it. Like, I'll tell you what's a good sign of wealth: having a credit card that you can't spend. Like, that's how. That's there's like, I'm so exclusive. I'm too exclusive to use my for you to take my money. Not a huge fan. Look, here says true. I did see some videos where Mark just made an offer because he felt sorry for them, like those sticky tie ladies. I don't think I've seen the sticky tie ladies before. I'll have to add that to my list. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't want to genetically modify crops and capitalize another pandemic. My hope is not. I read that he's trying to change America's diet. Very difficult to find a balanced article on this. Yeah, that would be a hard thing to find a balanced article on that. And I don't know how much he'd be able to change the diet. I mean, if it's, the genetically modified food thing, I can see both sides of it. I think, on one hand, like, people need food. Like, you're not being on the planet without food, right? And genetically modified food enables us to have food, to have people, like, and more people. So like I get why people like want to go in that. Oh, Lucutus, it's good to see you. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. I hope you have a Happy New Year. I'm going to try to be on, not tomorrow, obviously, but I'm going to try to be on at some point over the next week. And I got a lot of videos coming out. Like, I think I got one video for every day for the rest of the year coming out. So thank you for being here with us. What time is it? 11 o'clock. I think I'm going to jump on some Fortnite while we're here, if people don't mind while we talk. Man, my voice. I'm going to have a lost voice by tomorrow. Let's see. Oh, I keep putting the thing on my phone here. Water on my phone. But what were we talking about? The food. So yeah, so I see both sides of the argument. I don't think that we should all be trying to like genetically modify all the food, but I also see the point of like, hey, we can actually create a better standard of life for people who wouldn't have access to food otherwise. The Fool in the Rain says, according to some, Gates wants to eliminate livestock, eat lab meat, cell cultured chicken product on the market this year, 2021, patent pending regulatory review. Well, that's a fascinating proposition there, I would say. The idea that people would only eat cell grown food. I don't know how much stock I would put into that. That's it seems just it seems overboard. It seems overboard, I would think. Let's see here. Where's my properties? Properties. There we go. So let's see. Oh, it was so the sticky ties was this two women with a brand called Everwears. They made sticker ties you can wear and reuse. Huh. I mean, I don't know how often I would want to wear a sticker as a tie. It also says maybe if he's like Prince Andrew, but you can't imagine it because he looks like a sensible man. What was that in reference to? Oh, that's why his wife divorced him. Maybe she knows something that no one else does. Yeah, probably does. She knew that he was hanging out with somebody he probably, had no business hanging out with, especially for the reason that Bill Gates had to hang out with him, because he thought that he could get have access to a Nobel Peace Prize or something. Absolutely ridiculous. For the richest, one of the richest people, if not the richest person on the planet, to need to deal with him is, especially after knowing that he had a, legal issue in Florida. Just definitely not good. Like why Bill Gates is eager to get into farming. Well, Bill Gates also wants to put vaccines inside of mosquitoes. I mean, for the right reasons, but not something that I am really behind. Let's see. Difficult to find balance obstacles. I'm just parroting. Go play Fortnite. I am playing Fortnite. Let's go. Let's go get a win. I don't know. It's getting really cold out here. So it's like 10 degrees Fahrenheit out here right now. Well, not out here, but like outside of here. So keeping it warm in here is not great. Oh, you do it. What's John? I was just thinking about you. I was just talking about you the other day to somebody. We got to get together, man. We got to get some lunch together. If I know you, I was talking to you, your wife, at the school, like, I don't know, a week ago or something like that. And she said you've been really busy, but we gotta get together. Lots to catch up on, man. Lots and lots to catch up on. I like that one better. Uh-oh, that door's open. Why is that door open? So, Squish, good to see you in the chat. If FTX was pitched on Shark Tank, they would have called it out as a scam. They would have ridiculed the very concept of digital coins having value that's not based on anything. His involvement is puzzling. Well, Mark Cuban did the same thing, man. That being involved with Voyager and having that go nowhere, or go less than nowhere, is very puzzling. That Mark would, like, why does Mark even feel the need to get involved? I don't know. It just seems like a red flag to me. It just seems like a red flag. That's cool. Yeah, super busy. That's great news, brother. Thank you, man. We definitely let's figure it out for the new year. When's good for you? I actually might have time on Monday if you're available for lunch. To get together would be cool if you're around. Hope you and your family have a great Christmas too. Let's see. Do a reaction video to the Everware's Shark Tank video. Was that a? It's kind of an old one, but it's on YouTube. I probably have it. Oh, you've been off all month. Yeah, okay. Well, let's try to shoot for Monday, man. It'd be great to get to catch up. 'Cause I'll be home all day Monday. Do I have a key? I don't have a key. Jeez. That's a Hey, level 30. How about that? Sweet. Ding ding. Let's do it. It seems that Mr. Oh wait, is there somebody here? Oh, that door was open. All right. Let's see. Is that the gun I want? That is the gun I want. Man, it is so cold. See, it seems that Mr. Wonderful has become his own product. Mark, yeah, I would agree. Oh, whoa! Where did you get a shot from? Oh. Come on, come back over here. You know what? Oh, I'm gonna move on out. Kevin did a video for Walmart, and it was so obvious that he was doing it because he was getting paid. Their Walmart Target. Fortnite gotta pay out 500 plus million FTC. Yes, and right. I'm just gonna say that. The snowman scared me for a second there. I thought it moved. Hopefully it did. I hope it didn't. Shoot. Oh, you want to play that game? You wanna play that game? Oh, there you go. Run away. Yep, that's what happens. Womp womp. Yeah, Fortnite deserves to pay out that. I don't know if it was specifically just because of that article talking about how they hired psychiatrists to make their game addicting. I'm sure other people are doing the same thing, but yeah, it's not a great look, especially for a game that caters to kids. I know my kids always keep asking for V-Bucks so they can buy stuff, and their Uncle B keeps offering to like pay for stuff, and I'm like, no, stop! Like, they don't need it. They don't. Oh no, I want this one instead. They definitely do not need it. You know what? We're gonna take a shot instead, because I don't want them being addicted to it. Oh, that's a. Oh, all right. Rasima asks, do you think it's right game companies make violent games? So I'm probably the wrong person to ask that to. So Wasima says, like shooting, etc. It makes it fun, but is that brainwashing kids? So So I wouldn't. That's a tough one for me. Because I was the kid playing those games as a kid, right? And I personally don't have a problem playing those games with my kids, as long as we can keep it in context and we always have conversations and things like that. Now, do I think unchecked it's a good idea? No, not particularly. I think parent involvement is the most important aspect to it. In fact, I was watching a documentary about the Super Nintendo coming out here in the States back in the 90s, and they some of the parents were like, you know, my kids are like, their grades are slipping, and I'm glad I didn't take any damage there. My grades, their grades are slipping, and they're staying inside more, and this, that, and the third. And to me, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think a lot of it comes down on the parents and whether or not the parents are paying attention and being involved. I think that if you're just going to use this stuff as a babysitter, I think that you're going to have a bad time. And I think, like, I see it even with my own daughter, right? And how how she chooses, like if we leave her screen time unchecked, her attitude changes. And when I say screen time, I mean specifically her iPad. If I leave that unchecked, it definitely is like her attitude changes. She just is not the same like fun-loving person that she normally is. And that's why I think, like, I hate to say like it all comes back on the parents, but I mean, as a parent myself now, I definitely feel that way. Play video games on the way to hockey practice. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like you gotta put screen time limit on there. You do, it says, yeah, definitely parent control argument. Don't take away my fun because you can't parent your kids. So like, as long as the controls are there for the parents to be able to do it, but I also think that there's a gap there that they need, you know, maybe more education is needed. Oh, more education is needed. And some of them are not that easy. Like, I know, the Microsoft, you know, family stuff is not that easy to control, and Roblox for sure, definitely not that easy to control. It's Gabby baby. Yeah, yes, he's human, but he's worth millions. He should know better. He's human with no moral. Yeah. Oh, hey, what's that? Wasima, I think it's Gabby baby is probably referring to Kevin. She's probably watching back. Oh, hey, what's up there, buddy? Oh, hey. Oh, no. Oh, that's not good. This is not a good time. Ah. Yeah, no, and look, looking at you know, or talking with my friend Mike, you know, about this, and that's where like the conversation of like, but you know, 10+ million, being a 10+ millionaire, basically, it's like how many morals did you have to step over to get to that point, right? Probably more than most that have that kind of money plus want to admit. So I mean, if you're willing to do that, then I like, great. I mean, if money, you know, if you're all on board with the, you know, being part of the money cult, then you're gonna be able to justify it. But yeah. Usima says, is that how people shoot in war, like a video game? I'm gonna say no. I don't know. I've never even shot a rifle before, or a pistol for that matter. Not something that I really want the responsibility for, though I feel like at some point I might get my gun license, but I'm really not, like, I'm kind of don't really want the responsibility. Ninja Republic said Kevin blamed groupthink for not doing due diligence or understanding fully what he was investing in. People know he values money above all else, and yeah, he does. I think that if he, Wasima, I live in New Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia. So Yeah, I don't know. I mean, how are you going to be a paid spokesperson for something, get paid millions of dollars, and just like look the other way when it comes to any kind of due diligence, and then try to claim it's all on somebody else? Like, there is a certain point where it's like you should be able to, especially him versus like some other celebrity, like a Tom Brady or something, where it's like nobody's going to Tom Brady for financial advice. Right, or Tom Brady's not on CNBC all the time dishing out financial advice. So I don't. It's definitely different. With the new technology, yeah, it's crazy with the robot technology. I mean, I guess. Did you see the Balenciaga thing? They were doing some demonic things for money. Yeah, I did. Not a fan of. I honestly had never heard of Balenciaga before. Before people started, before it was like trending on Facebook, or not Facebook, Twitter. There was also a really bad look when one of Mr. Beast's people was rocking a Balenciaga hoodie in one of his like recent videos. Just not a good look. But I mean, I honestly don't know when the video was shot, but somebody should have probably thought to maybe edit it and like blur out his hoodie at a certain point. But Falling in the Rain, would Kevin give up money for fame? He's famous for loving money, which comes first now. Obviously, money. He chose money. I don't know. That's a great question. I think he would go with money. I mean, he did choose money. He definitely chose money. He definitely chose money. So I think it would be pretty clear that he wants the money. It's all it is. It's a transaction. Just a transaction. So okay. So no, he definitely does care about fame. He does, but does he care about more than money? I'm gonna say I don't know. But he definitely cares about fame. He definitely cares. I mean, if he didn't care about fame, he wouldn't be on. Well, he wouldn't be on Shark Tank. He wouldn't be on CNBC constantly. He has his own show too, The Money Court. I want to do some of those. I'm gonna do some reaction videos to The Money Court. I don't know. Has anybody in the? Oh shoot! Ooh, that was close. Now that he has fame, money might mean less. Money only has value compared to other people. You do it, says, dude. I would totally seriously die in the first minute of this game. Yeah, I mean that. So like when I to kind of go back to Wasima's question. I don't play these games for the violence. In fact, I mean, I wouldn't care if they were just a bunch of like Star Wars, like, blasters or whatever. What I care more about is the ability to, reaction time and thinking and like, solving problems and stuff in a very short period of time. That's what I like the most. God, my hands are cold. What's the temperature out here? It's like 57 Fahrenheit here. I need to finish this garage off at some point. Just trying to wait until things slow down, and then you know can get one of our contractor friends to do it for not like crazy prices, because they've all been running around. Oh shoot, where am I getting shot from? Where am I getting shot from? I don't really want to go back up here if I don't know where. Oh, don't know where I'm getting shot from. Okay, so all right, Wasim, I'll let me challenge you on that, right? So he says, Wasima says these violent games can teach criminals how to hide, react, etc. So would playing paintball. So would playing airsoft, which is similar to paintball. I mean, I wish I could run for as long and as fast as these characters in the game can. Ooh. You know, sacrifice the sniper rifle. Somebody's been in here. I mean, heck, there's a friend of mine, what's his name? He runs the Black Ops Entrepreneur Summit or something to that effect, out in Arizona every year. I gotta get out to one of them, but basically he was a CIA agent, and he turned entrepreneur slash lawyer. I want to say he's a lawyer, and he and yeah, basically they teach you how to do like all like the CIA, put you through your paces in like a CIA boot camp kind of thing. And that, if anything's going to teach you how to be a criminal, that potentially could. Oh shoot. Down. Yeah, I mean, me hitting 4 or 5 keys on a keyboard and like moving my mouse around, I don't know. Like, you either have the reaction time for it or you don't. I've just been fortunate to have had that reaction time from a long, long time ago. Let's see. It's obviously fake, but I'm just saying other people may perceive it differently. No, and that's true. Like there was the whole like, people who felt that Doom was training people how to kill people. What the heck is that? Though the funny thing about Doom, I forget, I was watching, I don't know, some documentary video about it on YouTube, and they were, somebody in like an interview was like, I grew up in a Christian household, and we played, or my dad played Doom all the time. Like, what's more Christian than blowing up demons? Oh shoot! Oh no! Oh, that's an NPC. Oh shoot! Oh, where you at? You in there? Oh boy! I'm gonna make my way out of here. What the hell? Not from. Full and Rain, you have an excellent point about kids. I didn't jump in on that conversation raised for them. The daughter is in the neighbor. Got to watch it with the kiddos. They got NPCs in this. Yes, there are NPCs, and they'll give you stuff, but if you shoot them, they will relentlessly come after you. And I have made that mistake. I want to be able to do that. What is going on here? Oh, no, no, no. Shoot. All right, all right, all right. Ooh. Oh, this ain't gonna end well. What? Whoa. Are you serious? Oh, no, 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 no. Ah, come on. Well, Iron Man got it. Got him. What time is it? 11:30. I'll just like do one more. Could be a bear out here in Alaska you're taking on. I hear they're quick and big, and I try to avoid them. Yeah. I mean, it was a bear, but that bear had like a gun on its back. Wasima says, how comes Lori calls Kevin evil, nasty, and Barbara says to some entrepreneurs who choose Kevin that they've signed a deal with the devil? Is it a joke or something? I think it's I'd like to think that after 14 seasons of the show that it's mostly for the camera. I would think. I don't think that they're actively they actually think that. I think a lot of that's for the camera, and I think to their benefit. They know that if they act like that, it gives people something to talk about. I think the Fool in the Rain says, I think the Sharks like to keep the rivalries going. We call it entertainment in the USA. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be conflict, right? Like, if you don't have conflict, then you don't have, a story. And if you don't have a story, then it's a heck of a lot less interesting. Isn't Kevin offended? I think if Kevin actually cares about money the most, then I don't think he would be offended. Because the amount of money that he's made since being on, having the platform, being a part of the platform like Shark Tank. And he does have thick skin, so at least a seemingly thick skin. I mean, everybody's got soft spots. I mean, like I showed earlier, Kevin's cried before. It's, and I think that maybe, I mean, while Kevin does have thick skin, he does tell a lot of the stories, the old Greek stories and Roman stories and things like that over the years. So it does make me think that maybe there's definitely more to him than just money. And I think it probably is more persona than anything. Let's see. I mean, he wears it well. It's really windy outside. They even thought he was a cheat when the cheating app came on. Yeah, I mean, dude, I mean, there's a huge entertainment value to it. Again, if there's no conflict, there's no... Shoot. Oh, come on. Gonna get a gun. Yep, then we're gonna have a problem. them. Oh boy. Ah! Whoa! 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 Oh, if they have a shotgun, I'm in trouble. Ah! Like that isn't ruining his reputation by calling him the devil. Oh well. No, it's a. I don't know. I mean, it's set on a TV show that can't be. That is for entertainment purposes. Virtus, is that how you pronounce that? Virtus 360. I mean, any person would be upset to lose a lot of money, even if you're rich. Yeah, they would. You do it. I just got back from ShopRite West Deptford. Hardly anyone there. It was like shopping during the Super Bowl, which I highly recommend. Ding ding. I was there earlier. I would not recommend it. I was there at like 4 o'clock, I think, and it wasn't completely like I've been there when it was more mobbed, but it was pretty crowded. Put it this way: I didn't pick up I couldn't get a shopping basket. And I wasn't getting a cart because I wasn't going to try to navigate in there with a cart. That is for sure. But yeah, I don't think I've ever gone out during the Super Bowl. I don't think. I think I mostly just stay home and watch the game. I mean, look, if Kevin thought that being called a cheater was slanderous, don't think for a second he wouldn't think to sue, but he ain't gonna sue the hand that feeds. And he's not. I don't think he's bigger than Shark Tank. Is he bigger than Shark Tank? I don't know. What do you all think? Like, I don't perceive him to be bigger than Shark Tank. Like, I think if he left Shark Tank tomorrow, he would still have his career for a while, but I think he would have to fight a lot harder to stay relevant. Right. Well, I mean, he's not going to admit that he's a cheat on national television. It's not. I mean, I think they were just joking with him. I don't think it was awkward to watch. Yeah, there's been a couple of times that have been really awkward to watch. Interactions between the Sharks, and I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the interview I did with Michael Levin. He at the end of that, it's like an hour and 45-minute interview, super valuable interview, like really a great amount of information in there, not just from Shark Tank but business and everything in between. But he tells a story about Barbara coming up to him after he gets done his pitch, after she just told him that she didn't trust him. Yeah, so and that was really weird. See, like, this is an NPC, so I can go up to her. She'll give me something for free, and then I can upgrade. Do I have money? I don't know if. I guess I can. Oh, cool, I do. Oh, okay. Sweet. Just don't shoot her. Just don't shoot her. Some people in the comments were saying it's funny how Robert judged when he cheated on his wife. Yeah, look, everybody finds a way to justify everything that they do in life. Because we're human. It's like straight up. That's at the end of it. We're all human. No matter how much money, no matter how much, whatever we have. It says, I believe a lot of it is all scripted and planned out months and years in advance. So yeah, just like I told Mrs. You Do It, that Housewives of New Jersey is scripted and she don't want to hear it. So I would say that so when it comes to Shark Tank specifically, I don't, the private conversations that I've had I don't give me the impression that it is all scripted. Oh shoot. But the producers definitely play a high role in the the planning of what the entrepreneurs are going to say and do and all that. So no, well, I mean, like, the direction and, like, guiding them along the path. Now, that doesn't mean that they're being told what to do, but you also have to remember that they're in the tank for, like, an hour, 45 minutes to, like, I mean, I've heard as long as over 2 hours. So, if that's the case, then you're going to have a ton of footage to like, play with. And tell the story. Uh-oh. Oh! Ah, crud. Ah, crap. Alright, let's just go. Let's go. Oh, God, they're gonna... Yeah, I'm gonna get myself killed here. Sorry, I was it's getting involved here. Let's see. Obviously, it was staged, but in that episode, it seemed like they were judging Kevin. LOL. Full Rain, how can you live life if you can't believe what you see or hear? Oh, thanks. You do it. You know that's the thing. I think. I mean, look. I have had to remind even my own wife pretty recently and people around me that, like, you know, just because you hear about something does not make it real, right? They say, like, what? Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see, or something like that. You know, you gotta take into consideration the source and. Like, and I think the best example of that is just play Whisper Down the Lane, right? Like, just play Whisper Down the Lane, and you'll get like 5 people into this, you know, into people saying a thing, and then you'll find out quickly that it's completely different than what the original words were, that the original person started with. So. Just keep that in mind at all times, like whenever you're hearing things, or, you know, like, we all want to believe certain things because sometimes it's, you know, it makes us feel good or it's convenient, but that doesn't make it true. I mean, there's one story. I'm not going to go into the story because it's absolutely ridiculous, but I think that. You know, it's really easy for, like, rumors get started, right? Like, shoot. Come on, man. All right, now we got a dog. Oh, they are actors. Business people are always trying to sell them. Yeah, they are actors. I mean, if they weren't actors, they wouldn't be able to stay on the show for us. Oh, crap. Let's get out. Nope. Shoot. Ah, crap. How's my dog? Bring back my dog. How is that not filling up my... I want the thing? I think I want the thing. I'll take the... Oh, that is not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I need shield. That's what I need. Dude, my left hand is getting really cold. Are business people trustworthy? I don't know. Let me think about that one. I don't know. That's well, I think that the thing that comes up comes to mind is the old like Greek Roman Q bono, which stands for who benefits, and asking, always asking yourself, like, does, who benefits from what we're talking about? And like, oh, shoot. One. Where I'm getting shot from. Well, see, man, it is in my garage. So when I used to have an office inside the house, and then when I had our daughter, I moved that office. I moved that office upstairs so that she could have a playroom downstairs. And then when the pandemic happened, I moved. I was, up there a lot. I was home every day at that point. And I was like, yeah, this like 12 by 12 bedroom is not cutting it to be up here like all day long. So I have two garages. There's one, like, there's a door that I put in like right on the other side of this frame. And so when the pandemic happened, I was like, you know what? I need a bigger space. I need a space that I can like be out in. I can be away from the house. I can yell in when I'm playing video games with friends or whatever. I can stream. I can make videos at any time, I want, early in the morning, late at night. And so my boy Mike came over, and this garage did not have it had insulation in the walls, but it was all like falling out, and there was no sheetrock. So we sheetrocked the whole thing, the ceiling, insulated the ceiling. And I still got to get it finished at some point. Like, so there's a garage door. The garage door is all the way down there. So I'm like pretty, far away from it. But it is, it's cold outside. It's 9 degrees Fahrenheit outside. But yeah, so I just needed a bigger space. And even now, like, I would love to bring my office back inside. But it just doesn't make sense, because then I can't, like, right now I'd have to like be whispering, because my daughter, I'd be right like next to my daughter's bedroom and right next to my bedroom where my wife is most likely sleeping at this point. Yeah, you get away with this one. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it took a lot of weeks, but I kept explaining to Mike, I'm like, man, you don't know, man. This is such a big deal to have a space that I can, because I got my arcade cabinets back there. I got my desk. My kids play. Their computer setups are right here, for us to play and stream and stuff with, and you can see that in some of the videos. Oh shoot. Yeah. Lighting is definitely it's a constant work in progress. Man, you are really missing. I don't really like that. Oh, I should have took the Bloodhound. That was dumb. No, that was dumb. Only 8 people left. But yeah, the lighting is always, it's been something I've played with. You can see that over the course of the years, being in here. But you know, I just it's just nice. And the other thing is when I come home from the shop, like I come right here and then I put in, I have my laptop and stuff, and I put my bag and laptop and camera bag and all like right here, and then I go inside. Yeah, I have a heater. The heater's right. Well, actually, I have 3 heaters in here. I should probably. I mean, I'm done after this. It's midnight. I need to go to bed after this. If I was gonna stay in, I have there's a heater above me. And then there's a heater like way back over here in this corner, and then we have a fireplace heater, like electric heater. A chance to explode. Oh, come on, come on. Alright, reload. But yeah, my hands are freezing. I actually have another heater I should probably bring in. I think it's upstairs at the moment that I can just like put under the desk. I can't. But I don't know, the big heater in the corner, I mean, that's like a 4,000 watt heater, so that one is the best of the heaters. It's just at this point, after this, I'm definitely on the bed. You do it, chatting with nice chatting with everyone. I'm out, Joe. Give you a shout out on Sunday, confirm it for Monday. Yeah, man, let's go do it. Let's go get something. I could wear gloves, but using the keyboard is not ideal with gloves. Enjoy life, create your world with your folks. You can try with folks you can try. Oh shit! Oh no! Oh, this sucks. This sucks. No. Give me some help. Give me some life. Give me some life. All right, let's get out of here. Woo! Go! Oh, that didn't work out. That ain't working out. Oh, come on. Oh my god, that's not good. That's not good. Not good. Oh, here they come. Damn. 4th place. All right, my voice is shot. I'm done playing. It's been so fun. It's been a great time. I appreciate you all watching and hanging in here with me and getting to play some Fortnite and answer questions and talk about life and celebrities and all that, man. All of you in the super community. I greatly appreciate you being here and supporting, talking, having conversations and learning from one another. That is 100% what we're here for. Wasima says, Joe, how do you feel knowing that 2% of people have over 50% of the world's wealth? I do not like it. Don't get me wrong, capitalism, I think it's mostly good. I don't know. I look at the world. Oh, you do it was just here for a therapy session. Oh, you're welcome. I think capitalism is good in a lot of ways. But like when I look at like the health of the world, like the weather and stuff, or not the weather, like from like global warming and things like that. Well, it's not great. I think that we need, capitalism needs regulation in order to work. And I think that a good portion of what has made capitalism work is on the backs of people less fortunate, right? In less fortunate areas. And I don't I don't love that part. I think that I think even like the stockholder thing, right? Like stockholders demand more profits, maximize profits all the time, like go. I think that we as humans have to set up a world in which we can all live in, because we only have one. Like Mars, if Mars can be colonized, it's going to suck for the people that are there. Number one. Number two, if we could ever terraform Mars as a second planet, that ain't happening tomorrow, and that ain't happening. Even if we started the process, it would not be very quickly at all, like within our lifetime. So, or several generations of our lifetimes. So I think that we have, there's a social responsibility for businesses, and to do what's right, not just for us and our wallets, but for our team, our customers, our communities as a whole. Then you do, be like Wawa and don't go public so you can control your destiny. Yeah. I mean, Wawa is expanding way big, going into the future here. Way, way, way big. So that is cool, because I mean, I like Wawa a lot. It's trying to make things for pennies but sell them for dollars. I mean, but it is greed and it isn't greed, right? Because you have other costs that you need to factor into that, like marketing costs, educating the public costs, and there's a lot of other costs than just like what it costs to actually make. Like an iPhone, right, only costs so much to make. Like, I don't know, it was like $20 or something, $30 in cost, but the research and development costs are astronomical and things of that nature. So there's a lot to take into account. For it, and I think, but that's the counter to that is also competition, right? We need competition. We can't have monopolies. We have monopolies here in America. We had monopolies in the past, and we had to break them up. We need that breakup hammer has to come back out. It absolutely has to come back out. The Fool in the Rain, thank you so much. I appreciate the donation. Joe, doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get to church tomorrow. Can you put $5 in a basket someplace and do whatever you want with the other $5? Thanks. Yes. There's a I don't know, can I get there tomorrow to donate? I don't know if I can get there tomorrow, but there's a really old family I don't know how to say, like, Christmas display that has been running for a long time, and they use a ton of electricity to do their thing, but they I would love to donate it to them. They put on a great show in Pittman, New Jersey every year. I don't know if you do, if you're still in here. Have you been to Haggerty's? It's like it's a family tradition. I've been going there since I was a little boy, and I love getting to take my kids there now. See, Jeff Bezos has more money than 92% of the countries in the world. There's a YouTube video comparing his wealth to countries' GDP. Apple uses children to search for cobble and was it cobalt maybe, and other metals for their products. They use children in Congo and other African countries. Yeah, Haggerty's is a great display. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough to necessarily speak on all that. Cobalt. The thing there, it almost seems like it's I don't know what the right word for it is, but almost like I don't want to say a function, but it's almost like a disease of capitalism. I mean, you think about it, like we had child labor in in our country here in America until they finally outlawed it. And it's only sort of outlawed because there's loopholes like family businesses. I mean, that's how I got to work from the age of 6. Sweeping floors and counting inventory and stocking up shelves and stuff. So, it does seem to be like a dirty secret, right? Or a not so secret, that these companies, they're always looking for the cheapest way to do it, the way, and unfortunately these products, that's one of the things, not to change away from the child labor, because that should not be the case. So I started working in the family business like in the summers when I was about 6, I was like 6 years old. I wouldn't spend my whole day there at that young, but like I got to be around it, got to spend time, like I said, like sweeping floors, counting inventory and things of that nature. 6, 7 years old. So it says like fast fashion, not just technical items like iPhone. Yeah, I mean fast fashion definitely has its issues as well. But yeah, not to take away from that. But I see when I've gotten to the point where I feel like not even just one-time use plastics. And I think I mentioned this in a recent video. Actually, the video might not have gone live yet. Where like one time, I'm not a fan of one-time use like anything. But when you really like start to think about the grand scheme of how long the Earth has existed. And like, even if I use this microphone for 20 years, 30 years, till I die, right? Well, like, let's say I live to be, so like 70 years from now, I'm still rocking this microphone. I'm still able to plug it into a computer and it works and everything like that. Or even if, actually, I think it has XLR in the back. Yeah, it does have XLR, so I could use it in a different way. But, in the grand scheme of life or light, the existence of Earth, it's still basically a one-time use. It's still basically a one-time use thing, unless it's like recycled into something else. How much did your family pay you? So I want to say I was making like $20 a week or something like that. I don't know. Like it's funny because like when when my kids come in now to the shop, because I've had them come in for a couple days, like maybe like 3 or 4 days total. Like my daughters come into work, and I had her like peeling and sticking labels and stuff. My dad tries to like push this idea that you work so you get paid, which I kind of like, I don't disagree with, but I don't know. I also kind of like there was an explanation given by somebody, I don't know, one of the famous entrepreneurs out there. Whereas like I work for knowledge, and the whole thing is like she's getting to learn the process, and so like, yeah, she's got money, like she gets money she ended up getting paid, but I'm like, well, I don't want her to just be motivated by money. Like I'm not motivated by money, it buys things, but at the end of the day, like I care more about experiences. I care about more conversations. That's one of the reasons I said I was going to leave and I'm still here. Like sorry, my voice is starting to go, but I want her to feel that the importance, the gravity of that, being a part of the process of getting to help others and not necessarily just doing it for a monetary gain. I think, that's something that I really want to drive into them. And because like, if I was just motivated by money, like I wouldn't have did a podcast for, I still do a podcast today. It's 8 years in. Like the podcast itself has not made a lot of money, but I've made money because of the podcast, not from the podcast. So, going back, it says, because it must have been to get you involved so you could earn your pocket money. Yes and no. Like, it's also a part of the grooming process. I mean, the grooming process is not a great word to use for it anymore because people have ruined it. But it's part of like the learning process. That's why, like, if you go, like one of my close friends reached out to me the other day and was like, how old are you, Joe? And I'm like, I'm 36. They're like, well, how can you say that you've have 30 years of experience in business? And I'm like, well, look, just because you get involved doesn't mean that you come in as the CEO on day one. You got to have experience. And I just was able to gain a lot of those experiences at a much younger age than other people. By the time I was like 12, I was, building computers and stuff in like 98, 99 for the company, so, I have experiences that like some people wouldn't get until they're 20, 25, 30, 35. And I had those experiences when I was like 12, so for me, like, I think it's really important to have those experiences. So Wasima, the family business. Well, we have there's been a couple different family businesses over the year, but all of them over the years. The one at the time was Pardo Truck Parts. I don't have one of those hats here. I think I have hats like way back on the shuffle alley back there, but yeah, it was started by my grandfather, and did I miss? Oh, the foot in the rain. Give it any time. I may be snowed in. I just got stocked up for 4 to 6 weeks. Aurora Borealis coming. Wait. Full in the rain. You are in Alaska? Is that? I did not know that. That is cool. I know you. Well, you mentioned earlier about Alaska. I didn't know you were talking about you being in Alaska. I thought you were talking about me being in the snow in a game. But I will. I hope you stay safe and are able to. That's awesome, man. Definitely try and get some pictures, man. Have a good night. What was I saying? What's your family business? So, and does it still exist? So the Pardo Truck Parts does not. My dad sold that in 2015. I left in 2014. I had my fill at that point of the internal politics and just feeling generally burnt out from it. And that's when I left and about a month and a half later started my podcast up. And it was a really ultimately it was a really great decision. And it was a decision that also GMA 67 Flatterson, glad to have you in the chat with us. That's one of those things where it was really important to me to make those choices, to have that choice to be able to leave when I never thought I would be able to actually leave the company. It was not something I thought that was in the cards for me. But and yes, $20 is a lot to a 6-year-old, especially in 1993, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I probably got paid more after that, like after the first couple of years. But I think at some point I was making like $20 a day. I want to say probably when I was about 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that. Like around $20, $25 a day. And then I was always told, like, oh, you're lucky because I used to have to work for free. So, aren't you lucky by my grandfather and my dad? But yeah, money does bring choices. It does not bring happiness. And The interesting thing is once my dad, once I left the company, my dad years later told me, because we didn't have a great, we weren't getting along real well when I left. It was not a very happy time for pretty much anybody. I did feel rich at the time. I wish I still had some of that money. I didn't really realize how much of importance, savings was. That wasn't something I was being taught a whole lot of at that time. So internal politics, let me finish. So after I left, my dad realized that we're not defined by the one company that my grandfather started with my dad and my great grandfather. So, he realized that it wasn't the end all be all, and that, it wasn't necessarily, he didn't have to keep it going forever just because it was something that was created, which is not how he felt prior to me leaving. So that, me leaving kind of changed, opened his eyes in a lot of ways. Because things at that point there was a lot of internal chaos and things. And when I say internal politics, when you have a company that's been around 30 years and you have a lot of people that have worked there as long as say I had been alive at the time, because the company started in 81, on board in 86. There was quite a few people that had worked in there since the 80s, maybe not quite when before I was born, but around that time in early 90s. People only want to change so much. They only want to deal with so much change and things like that. So, it became a lot of that's what I mean by internal politics. Cause people were related to, my dad in some way, shape or form. It's a friend, it's a girlfriend, it's the girlfriend's daughter. It's this person who's been here forever. It's that person who's a family friend. It's, and being in the truck parts industry, it's not as cookie cutter as I would have loved it to be, or anybody would have loved it to be. Cause you can't just, pop in a VIN number, like a vehicle identification number for a truck and get an answer. And these are heavy duty trucks, like big rig trucks. You have to do a lot. You have to know what measurements to take and do the research and then have experience to just know because you've come across it before and things like that. And then you are in Alaska. Dude, that is so cool. That is so cool. What part of Alaska? Where in Alaska are you? Please say Skagway. There's a running joke with some Disney podcast fans of WDW today. That Skagway is Skagway is the way. We actually did a Skagway, Alaska meetup at the Spaceship Earth in Epcot in Disney World, and we all picked on the map in the ride. We all picked Skagway to make it super bright. So please say Skagway. It'd be awesome. So yeah, so was it? It was me and my dad in the business, and there were the other was my sister, but then there was my aunt, my one aunt, and then my other aunt was in it at one point, but a long time ago, she got out. But yeah, it was just a lot of personalities and things like that. And I mean, the company, we were the largest independently owned truck parts company on the East Coast. And Frozen, Alaska, that's a thing. Frozen, Alaska. No, is that can't be a place, is it? Well, I mean, we got Blue Ball, New Jersey, Pennsylvania around here. But yeah, just so when you have companies that live, the longer they live, the longer they have people and things like that. So yes, I am 30. I am 36. A lot of people like to say, "No, you're so much older than that." No, I'm not. I know. Look, I got the bad hair gene from my mom's side. But I, 36. So yeah, so anyway, that like when there was just a lot I wrote a lot about it in my book, leading up to that time. But I'm glad I stayed as long as I did, because there was a lot of experiences that I got in the last like 3 years, that I'm really grateful for, that really helped like propel me to where I am today, like to give me the confidence of where I am today. So as much as I was like very burnout and very much like hating where I was in life and what I was doing, it just did not make it didn't make sense to leave until it was no longer possible for me to stay. No, so I don't just do podcasting now. That was the goal for a long time, was just to make podcasting work. And what I found is, and I've translated that here, because that was in 2014 I started the podcast. I also started up the Independent Podcast Conference, which we're doing our next event in September, this upcoming September 8th and 9th. So when so I started that up at the end of 2014. I've written 4 books, and I've done a bunch of consulting and stuff over the years, but things got complicated once once we had our first kid, and then they got more complicated once we had our second kid, because my wife was no longer to be able to work. So like, I wasn't making money that was like, whoa, like, nobody's working, I'm paying for everything, like, let's go. Like, that money was not happening at all. But I was making money, but just not enough to like pay all the bills. But once my son came along, that's when she left, because she stayed home with the kids, and then I made the decision to leave. So I had taken I also had a job with a nonprofit here in Camden, New Jersey for a year and a half. I love it. I still when we're gonna do some kind of live event, streaming event or something like that, we're gonna do donations to them. It's called HopeWorks, and basically it's the short of it. Let me pull it up. So they help underprivileged youth get access. Let's see. So we have the power. You have the power to recode your future with HopeWorks. You combine education, technology, and entrepreneurship so that you can build professional web design and development skills. We partner with young men and women 17 to 26 to get them back in school, earn permanent jobs, and achieve their highest potential. So I actually got to be their web director, which was cool and it was not cool, because I had to deal with a lot of customers, and I didn't love that part about it, but I loved getting to work with the youth, because the youth, a lot of them were entrepreneurs, were like trying to start their own business, and it just, they were just awesome, and I loved getting to coach them. It was the absolute my favorite part of that and the rest of the people I got to work with, because everybody there cared a lot. The problem is the pay wasn't all that great. So like I was still coaching people, still running my podcast, still running Independent Podcast Conference, running the Super Entrepreneur Conference as well. So like all these different things, and basically an opportunity came. So after my dad sold the business in 2015, he had a trucking company and a brokerage company that he ran for like another 2 years, 2 years or so before that ended up folding. He was not very good at logistics. He's a great salesman, but not good at logistics, and that folded. And he went back to work with a company called Pioneer that had been in our family since like the 60s. So they're a truck repair company, and he started up a new new name for it, because Pioneer didn't really have that great of a whatchamacallit, reputation. So part of Fleet Solutions is what he started up, and he was like, "Look, we're growing, and we're getting it. We're getting a lot of the band back together and the people back together." And I was like super hesitant to come back because I was like, I'm not really happy with the way a lot of the things went when I was there. But working at HopeWorks gave me a lot of the tools, the coping mechanisms. Because I had to get MI, motivational interviewing, and I had down, and I had to get what's it called? It's like trained on like mental health, like awareness, I guess is the way to put it. But so you're in the peninsula. That's awesome, man. 36, referring to your wisdom. So you're 36. Or you're talking about me being 36. Because it's always good to have 86 babies in the house. So HopeWorks really helped me like learn how, like a lot about myself and how to deal with stressful triggering situations and stuff like that. So it really helped like when I went back, because I agreed to go back because I mostly because I needed the money, but also because I wanted to help him get an opportunity to have a break, because he had been going nonstop pretty much since like my grandfather passed away in like 2010, and he was 2010 or 2009, and pretty much he was nonstop since then. So he was, like, I need somebody, I need somebody that can help, get a new computer system in here, help us get, up to speed, because they were like still writing on, paper cards and things, and we're not set up to grow at all, in any kind of way. So yeah, so I came back, and I was there until 2020, March 2020, when the pandemic happened. I stopped being there every day because my son has reactive airway disease that we found out about in like November and December when he went into the hospital in 2019. So I was like, oh, well, we're not trying to like tempt fate here. Like, let's not try to give him that thing that is like maybe getting a lot of people ill, and he's susceptible to having, low blood ox and stuff. Once, just being sick in general, let alone getting the illness. So I left. I worked in the background, but I spent pretty much every day here for 2 years, from March 2020 till I came back into the office and worked in the day-to-day operations in April of this year, something like that. Skyway's on the Panhandle. You can't get there from here. Oh, that's funny. Kid India, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate the donation. It's very much well appreciated. And good to see you in the chat as well. Hope you're having a great night. I don't know if you're celebrating Christmas. I mean, it's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas. Oh man, it's 12:30 already. It's Christmas Eve here on the East Coast. But yeah, let's see. Osimile said, "Why do you think there are some people who are the opposite of you, where they do things just for money?" I have these conversations with my wife all the time. There's people in our lives that feel that way very much. And I don't know why I don't feel that way as much. I don't know. I mean, I kind of have some ideas of, going back into childhood, and my parents, they're divorced. They got divorced when I was 6. And not long after that, I I had this, I remember being asked a lot, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I used to say I wanted to be a child psychologist, because I wanted to help other kids going through divorce like I was, and dealing with the battles and the mind games and the not great things that come out when people aren't happy and not together. And it's one of the reasons I put so much effort into being with the kids and being with my wife, and even just picking my wife was tough. Like, it was a big thing, because I want to make sure that if I were to bring kids into the world, like, I don't want them to suffer the same things that I, and I say suffer because, like, look, this is what I had to deal with. This isn't necessarily the worst thing. Parents definitely aren't the worst. There's way worse parents out there, and way worse situations than I ever had to deal with. HopeWorks was a great opportunity to get to meet some of those youth that are experiencing those situations way worse than I ever had to. But as a kid, like, it is what it is. You're dealing with these things, and I just, I've always, even from a young age, just like want to help other, kids. And I've gotten to do that. Like, I've gotten to do that through HopeWorks. I've gotten to do that through speaking engagements at grade schools and middle schools, and other kid oriented events and things. So, I'm grateful that even though I didn't go to school, because, like, one of the things is I didn't love school. So when they were like, oh yeah, you can go and do that, it's going to take, like, well, if you're going to be a psychiatrist, it's going to be like, 10 years of schooling. And I'm like, whoa, like, I don't even like, care for school that much as it is. I don't want to do all that. But Fool in the Rain, my dad had a very successful small business because his business partner was his reciprocal. Yeah, I think it's important to have both sides of it. I mean, if you look at, like, Walt Disney, right? You had the money guy, which was oh God, why am I blanking on Walt? Roy. And then you have Walt, right? And that is, you have that like yin and yang setup of two different types of left brain, right brain type of thinking, that can make it go forward. And yeah. Yes, I am 36. Okay, so you were talking about, I gotta feed up here. There we go. That's better. What was your dad's business in? Fool in the Rain. And do you think money equals power, independence? Well, there's been a ton of studies on that, right? Like, where it's like $75,000 is like peak happy. Peak happiness can happen around that, which is, it's on a scale too, because you still have to, it's all about, like, where you live and how much things cost and all that. But, like, once you get past that, it's like the happiness, like, because it's all about, like, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and that is one of the things that you have to, like, really take into consideration is all your needs being met. And once you get past a certain point, like, the money can actually start to be a hindrance in some ways. RPI grad metallurgic engineer. My dad's company developed a little solar panel in the first solar instant camera. Wow. That's interesting. Thank you, Tony. Good to see you here in the chat. Glad you enjoyed the video. I guess you're talking about, like, the newest one I just uploaded, because there's another one going up in like 10 hours or so. I think 11 a.m. Eastern is the next one. Wasima says, so do you think you're in the minority? I think people like you are better, though, as it's a more mature attitude. So the thing about that is, like, there's so many times in life that, and I shouldn't feel this way. And like, I don't know. It's weird. It's like weird for me as a parent now to think about it with like my daughter and my son, and whether or not I want them to be the adult in the room. Because there's a lot of times growing up where like I felt like I was the adult in the room because of the way everybody was acting like just complete morons, like, just very irrational. And even to this day, like, I just a lot of times I still feel like I'm the adult in the room and I'm the youngest in the room. Like, what the heck? Like, why? It's, I think it's, I think that's part of the whole, being super and wanting, the best for myself and the people around me. And yeah, I mean, I remember even as a kid, like towards the end of high school, I started to get into DJing, and I remember thinking to myself, like, how can I utilize this skill or this, outlet to be able to open doors for me and my friends, and help them, not necessarily to be like, because I don't really want like the entourage. I wouldn't want the entourage kind of thing going on, but like, how can I help them get to the top of their mountain? Right? Like what doors can I open for us? But when I say us, I mean for them, collectively us, to open doors to push them to the top of where they want to go. And it's just it's just like ingrained in me. Full and Rain says Polaroid, Bell, and Hal, and medical equipment modification. Oh wow. And do I think I'm in the minority? Yeah, no, I do. I think a lot of people put money at the top of their list of things that like tell. There's a song about that, isn't there? Like, if I had all the money, I would sit at the top of the mountain and preach to the wise men or something like that. Who's that song? Is that what's that? A Bob Dylan song? I think. Is that a Bob? I think it's a Bob Dylan. Hold out here. 57. That's not terrible. Me. Probably got more red light effect now. Oh yeah, you can definitely see the the dot coming through. Kid India said, I started to accumulate too many possessions, felt burdened from maintaining all of it, let go, and felt the pain of let go, and I'm much happier now. Only focusing on what I need and the essentials now. That I fancy myself a minimalist. I know I'm, well, it depends on, if you use like a liberal word of minimalist, I think I'm in that boat. But I like to, I like to have things that I will actually use. I have a nickname amongst some of my friends that know me best, and my friend Andre, he gave it to me, is Send It Back Joe. And the reason I'm Send It Back Joe is because I have a tendency to return a lot of things that, like, I'm like, oh, I would really like this. I think I think I could integrate this into my workflow and into my life. And then I get it and I'm like, yeah, no, it's not quite that. And I don't want it just sitting around, like gathering dust. But I in some ways I'm a pack rat because, like, I'm sure maybe even you, Kid India, as somebody who has camera equipment and stuff, has like the box of cables and the box of, like things that, you don't use all the time. But like, but my box is several boxes worth of cables because I have lots of different hobbies, right? From DJing to camera and video to gaming, to like arcades, games and stuff. So there's like a lot of stuff that you just have to have stuff for, like, and I don't use it all the time, but it's there. Keep it. you know, and I store it in the attic. But I do say, and like, so I don't have a copy of that book here, but my first book, I is one of the 31 life-changing concepts, is that everything has to pay rent. So everything takes up, you're paying for the space in which things live, or are, and everything has to pay rent in either necessity or pleasure. And if it's not paying its rent, then it needs to go. So, can I say that about everything I have? No. But now that I have 2 kids, there's been things where I'm like, man, I'm glad I held on to this, because I would just be rebuying it later. And here we are, like, when as they're getting older, I'm able to already have some of those things. Kid India says, absolutely, you're right. The cables, wires, the batteries are definitely a needed storage. Yeah. I mean, you have to, I mean, you can't see it right now because the way the light is, but like there's drawers underneath of the shuffle alley over here, and one of those is all camera stuff, like all kinds of stuff, filters, and all kinds of things like that. But yeah, so that's the way I say it. Like, everything takes up square footage, right? So it's like, the smaller it is, the more likely I'm to keep it around. The bigger it is, the more square footage it takes up, the more I'm paying for that square footage, and rent. Well, not rent in this case, mortgage, but everything's got to pay its rent because it's renting the space from me, right? I'm the landlord. But you can also apply that to business, right? So that's where it originally came up. It's a long story about, and I wrote about it in my book, and I've talked about it, but if you have inventory, you only have so much space, and then what inventory are you filling up that space with? Is it stuff that's actually moving, giving you a return on your investment, and having the right amount of turns? If it's not, then it needs to go, so you can make room for more of the stuff you should be buying to sell. Great rent analogy. Your stuff not entirely sitting idle, not in a dump. It's valued. Yeah, I mean, because the other flip side of that, to go to Kid India, right, is in theory, we own everything in the world, right? Like, we can just go to eBay and rebuy whatever it is that we don't want. We could also go and sell that thing, right? So, I mean, with the exception of like really rare things, or things that are, may become rare in the future. You could just go to eBay and like go get it again, and it might be cheaper, and there might be a newer generation that's better or faster or whatever. So, so I say that, but then it's something, I don't know. It also depends on like how much is it cost, versus what you're going to sell it for, versus like if I hold on to it, it's just something, as long as you're thinking in that mode, like you can justify what you're going to keep and what you're going to do with it. The Fool in the Rain says, I've got backup generators. I pray I never have to use them, but I gotta have it. Yeah, I've talked about getting backup generators. We lose power here like maybe 1 to 3 times a year. It's not the end of the world for us. I mean, because it's only down for like an hour, usually at most. But I think it's definitely better, especially because you're living in Alaska. Like, come on, man. Like, it ain't warm. You gotta have food. You gotta have heat, and yeah, like. I mean, you could always start a fire. I mean, there's ways around it, I guess. But like, yeah, I would, if I was living up there, I would definitely have a generator. Like, worst case here, like I just get in my car, go to my dad's house. He has a built-in house generator. Oh, you said I meant your cables and equipment. I think I missed what you're saying there, Fool in the Rain. Let's see. Wasima, do you wish you were different or okay with how you view money? I'm also like you, but was wondering if there was something wrong with me, and am I in the minority? I I don't I don't know. I mean, growing up, I mean, I'm a Rage Against the Machine fan. So if that tells you anything, that, yeah. It's funny, like, having, business knowledge, but, like, I really put a heavy focus on, social responsibility and personal responsibility, like having a sense of responsibility for the community and that you live in and work in and operate in, um and your team. I think that I don't think that ever I think if you look at America, I don't know if it's just America either. It's probably not just America, but mostly in America. And in the sense that people will borrow lots and lots of debt. Like, they'll take on lots and lots of debt to buy things, right, that they want or feel they need. Um it's the whole, like, keeping up with the Joneses thing. I've fallen, like, I'm not perfect. I've fallen victim to it. I try to buy things that, like I said earlier, like, fit my workflow, fit how I live, how I think. I try not to let other people. I'm definitely not perfect, so this isn't me preaching, but by any means. I try to live and do things that bring joy to me, regardless of how other people, like, view them. Examples, right? So I like to go to Disney World. I have lots of friends down there. Um, and it's not really about the rides. From after a while, it wasn't about the rides. I go to run races. I go to see friends. I get to go share experiences. And in some cases, network with people. Um, but some people, understand that. They just, you're going to Disney again? Like, yeah, I am. I'm going to go run a race and, like, spend time with friends and have great experiences. Um, not everybody's going to get that. As somebody who, puts a high value on performance, how something performs over, like, how it looks. I do have a little bit of, I do like, form to a certain extent, but but performance is a big one for me, right? And that's a really important aspect to every decision that I make, is, can it perform the way I need it to? Um So I don't know. Sometimes I wish sometimes I wish that I could just be like other people and like, let things go. Um like another example. I don't drink. I never drank. Never. uh I mean, I can't say I haven't been high, but it was not intentional either time. I like to be in control of my situation. I like to, uh you know be present for people, and I like to remember the things that I do. So, um but that's, like, that's another way, like, am not like most people, and I feel like that has sometimes kind of sidelined me in people's minds. Um but then I remember, like, this is me. I mean, I've had to come to, um grips with standing up to a bunch of people. Not standing up, but just, like, standing up for myself, and how I was going to, not go somewhere that everybody else was going to go just because they were going to go. And I'm like, yeah, no, y'all have fun. Like, that's your that's for you. That's not for me. And I'm not passing judgment. Like like sometimes, like I said, I feel like I could be like that, be like everybody else, let go, like everybody else seems to, be able to do, or quote unquote everybody. But that's not. It's just not. And as much as I would love for it to sometimes it would be a lot easier for me. But I think that it's just too important to me to not, just to be myself and to not give in to what other people want. And it, I'm not always the fastest to it, because like I'm trying to calculate like how is this going to affect me in other ways. I've been called out on that before by not being the fastest, but and I'm okay with that. I can live with that. That's okay. I'd rather be calculated and try, or as calculated as I can be. I'm not perfect. But yeah. Full in the Rain says, sorry, my bad communication. You seem balanced between two worlds of ideals and reality. That's a pretty good, that's a pretty good read. That's a pretty good read, man. That is exactly I having family that is in business and having this background and all, but at the same time, like I just think that we have to do the best for each other as much as we can. And again, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I make mistakes, but the goal is always there. And sometimes we have to see things from a distance to be able to know like when it's okay to forgive ourselves for said mistakes. Basima says, that's so true, really powerful what you're saying. Well, I appreciate that. That's why I'm up at, oh my God, it's 1 o'clock. Oh, I do need to go to bed. I'll be kicking myself in the morning for sure, but I've been enjoying it. So, when you think about the fact that like I prefer to live in a world where we can be critical thinkers, and you don't have to like I don't subscribe to the idea that everybody has to be like, I love pancakes, so that means you hate waffles. No, I can love both, or love both to a certain extent, right? It doesn't mean I have to hate one thing to love another. And I think that we as a society, as a culture, or like a global culture, well, I don't know about global, but at least in American culture, everything has gotten so great, like so wild as far as like there's no middle ground. You can't be middle ground. And it's just the way I see myself is like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about all the sides and like get as much real information as we can and all that. But the full in the rain, we got to get Joe to sleep soon. Good night, everybody. Happy holidays. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, and if I don't see you in the chat, New Year's. We gotta do more of these. You definitely gotta do more of these. This is fun. I can't do the 1 o'clock in the morning, but every night. But we gotta do more of these. But I am gonna go to. I'm gonna sign off here. So I appreciate you all watching. I appreciate the donations. I appreciate all the questions and being able to help. We talked about patents. Sam, my job. So I am the COO of Pardo Fleet Solutions. Right there. You can go to pardos.net. We do mobile and in-shop repairs of heavy-duty trucks. This company's been around in my family since like the 60s. And yeah. It says, I guess it doesn't matter yet. I'm a lady that born that way. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. You can be hey, if it's good enough for Lady Gaga to be born that way, then it's good enough for anybody else to be that way. Sam, we have hats. We have them at the well, if I don't know what hat do you want? We got a super entrepreneur hat. We got I don't have any of these for sale, though I could put some up for sale on my site. And we got super hats. I actually don't wear hats. Which is ironic because I have a bunch of them on here. It's a good way to have things, but it's like I don't know. I wear a hat like when I mow the lawn. That's about it. I should wear. I gotta get used to wearing hats more because like there ain't a whole lot of hovering up there anymore. Wasima, you were so welcome. You were so welcome. When are you next live? When am I live? Definitely not tomorrow, and definitely not the day after Christmas. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve at this point here. But not Christmas. Maybe Monday. I'm supposed to be home. We gave everybody off, so I'll be home. So maybe for a little bit. Oh, you know what? Full. Oh, okay. Let's have. Yeah. Well, you know what? Somebody I'm friends with was calling me Pardue for like the longest time, and I was like, I was gonna keep letting it go, and then I was like, just so you know, my name's Pardo, but yeah, sure, whatever. And they're like, oh, I feel like such a jackass now. I'm like, no. It's okay. But you were the only person that I know that was calling me Pardue. This is not my first live. By the way, I love Led Zeppelin. By the way, one of probably top 20 favorite band of all time, easily. In that top 20. Is this my first live? No, it's not my first live. I've done quite a few. You can go back. There's a playlist of all the different lives. I gotta add this. This might already be added to it. I'm not sure. Oh, it is. It's added to my live stream. So if you go to the homepage of the channel, you can scroll down to live streams. There's live streams and there's explaining through gaming. Oh, I should make it a little bigger. There's live streams and explaining through gaming. So that's kind of what we did here. We did a little bit of everything. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. I'm glad that it's been relaxed for me. I mean, being able to talk for 3.5 hours. That's why I like to have guests, because guests talk and then I don't have to talk the whole time. But that's, I got to learn to like lower my voice. Like I feel like I always want to like project, but like my voice can only do that for so long before it starts to sputter out. So I just need to like get the mic a little closer and feel like I can talk at a normal level without feeling the need I just don't want to put people to sleep, because like I'm a high energy guy, but I can't do that for 3.5 hours. Steve says, look forward to your next live. Please ask your copyright lawyer friend to be a guest. I will text him in the morning, and I will, if he responds to me, I will make sure that that's the case. Hello says, what's your favorite Shark Tank pitch? Yes. You knew. Wait. Full in the Rain. You knew I was a part-time lead head. Yeah, I've been listening to Led Zeppelin since middle school, I want to say. Probably earlier than that, like, because the classic rock stations were like always on growing up. But I specifically like really got into Led Zeppelin probably in middle school. So like, I mean, obviously that wasn't when they were like new, but yeah. Now I'm really gonna say goodnight. Yes, you go tonight, Falling in the Rain. Greatly appreciate you, and I will donate the $5. No problem. And I will think of cues I have. LOL. So hello, ask, what's your favorite Shark Tank pitch? I don't know. There's so many. There's just so many. That's hard too, because now that I've been yes, good night Wasima and Merry Christmas. Now that I know, a handful of these people, like personally, it makes it hard to pick. Like people used to ask me who my favorite interview was when I, doing the Dreamers podcast. And I don't know, I did like 350 interviews or something like that. And it's like picking like a favorite child. Like, I don't know. I can't. It's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to pick one. Especially when you know some of the people. Like, I don't know. There's definitely some that I'm not as much of a fan of. I ain't that old. No, you don't have to be. I'm not though. I just fell in love with the music. Really spoke to me in middle school and especially in early high school. Man, I don't know. There's so many. So many. There's some that, and I'm not going to name names, but there's some that stand out to me as disingenuous. And I'm sure somebody, watching would maybe feel that way too. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to name names. Yes, this live will definitely be saved on my channel, and it'll also be on my blog over at joepardo.com. And I might actually, maybe I'll turn this into a podcast episode too and drop it as well. Oh no. We stayed up to 1 o'clock and now my Roomba's starting up. Super loud. Yeah. So yeah, this will definitely be available afterwards. But yeah, there's definitely some pitches that just like the numbers don't seem to add up to me, or the story doesn't add up. And then when you go and we look at their social media, I definitely won't be editing. I ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Dork in the violin when Charlie Daniels and Devil went down the Georgia violin was a fiddle. No more bullies. Yeah, there's a few of them like they'll be like, oh well, we did all these things and we got all this blah 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 blah, and then like I'm like, okay, and we get to the social media and I'm like, something's not adding up here. Like, you were all about social media and we got here and there's not a lot going on. So I'm not gonna name names, but the videos, if you read between the lines, because I always want to try to put a positive spin on it. As much as possible, because I want, these are real people. The entrepreneurs are real people, and I want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, because we're looking at an edited version of an hour long, maybe plus conversation that happened with them and the Sharks. So yeah, no, that's quite all right. Hello, I don't have a problem with being put on the spot. I know how to not pick the favorite child. I've been doing it a while now, but Yo, this is interesting. So this pitch here, this a spicy counter Sienna sauce on Shark Tank. This video for the longest time had like no views, no matter what I did. I've changed the thumbnail a bunch of times, did a whole bunch of stuff to try to make it work. and for whatever reason, it just never took off. And I'm actually glad to see that it has views now. I mean, not like a ton of views, comparatively speaking, but let me see. I'll let it. Wow, it still actually is not very is not very good. Wow. So yeah, so like for the longest time, like you see, like it barely went anywhere. And then it's slowly been taking off. But I mean, that's 642 days after publishing, and we're still at 1,200, which is below the average views. Cat tongue. Well, I think that I want to draw a cat for you. I think that one stands out a little bit. There's ones that stand out, but it stands out probably for the wrong reasons. Like, it doesn't stand out because it's, a great, I don't know. It's not because it's like my favorite pitch or anything, but yeah. All right. It's very cold at this point, and I need to go to bed because it is Christmas Eve. Everybody, I appreciate you being in the super community, being here till 1 o'clock in the morning. I hope you and your families all have a great time over the next couple of days here. If you're celebrating Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. Hope that's all going well for you. I don't think I did the cat. I don't know what the cat tongue sucking me back in here, full in the rain. Cat tongue. Oh, I did. Okay, so I think this was in season. Yeah. Okay. I don't think I've ever actually watched this one. Or maybe I had. No, season 8. I didn't really watch. I don't think I've ever really watched much of season 8. Well, spoiler alert, it's no longer in business. That sucks. That's what I hate about this is like going through these files and then finding out that they're not in business, and then I try not to let that taint my perception of the pitch and things of that nature. Hello says, thanks, Joe. Keep up the great videos and happy holidays. Thank you so much for watching, and happy holidays to you and your family. And I got more videos in the pipe. I've got I don't know, 6 or 7 others already recorded. I might record a couple tomorrow in the morning if I have a voice. And it's not free. I mean, it's supposed to be it's 8 degrees outside for Fahrenheit at this point. So yeah, we'll see. So anyway, have a great night, everybody. And I'll see you in the next live stream. And if not, I'll probably drop some videos over here. Take care and go be super.